It is I. I am here. Your king. Your god.
You are here.
Jagos.
I'm so glad.
Jagos.
I'm so glad that you're here in the form that you take to
Huh?
bless us.
Huh?
Lupin, is this Zenny's toy? Did you get his toy from him?
Yeah, I'm going
You
day
are
form.
a
I'm
boy.
going day form. We got sunny day going on right now. Swapping to day form.
Oh,
Here we are.
swap into day form.
Hello and welcome, Internet, to episode 2 of the Paggigalo. Bringing you sponsored to today with your hosts. I am here, Paggigalo, and we got my co-host over here.
Hiya there, podcast world. It's me, Y Rock.
This is such we're happy to announce on this second episode of the podcast that we are now moving to Spotify. So all the episodes from now on are going to be on Spotify. You can find us there. Just search up Paggy Rockcast on Spotify, and we'll be right there. And if you can't find us, it's your fault.
All your fault.
It's that simple.
Why is there a plot here right now?
It's that simple.
I just want to kill some Graveler.
Oh, are you watching?
Yeah, listen to the podcast. It's good.
Are you watching a seal roll away? A spiel?
No.
Oh.
God, that quest made me upset.
Well, anyway, you should probably give like a minute or two for people to pour in.
People to pour in, get a
nice cup of cocoa.
Yeah, get past the ads.
It is cold out.
I'm a sellout who is filled with ads.
It is cold out, as my character is now showing on the screen right now. Because they're shivering.
They're shivering.
But yes. You have anything to add, Mr. Wyrock?
Yeah, so very excited to finally have episode 2 of Patty Rockcast. It's been, what, 2 months?
You didn't follow the joke, guys. You didn't follow the joke. Like, what the heck?
I'll be honest, I didn't hear the joke. I'm a terrible co-host.
I can't believe this guy. I could have sworn I just heard a fucking, sitting in the rafters over here somewhere. The fuck's making that noise?
It's me, your god.
Oh, Jackals. I hate Braviary, the worst fucking mount in this game.
Does everyone really hate Braviary that much?
It fucking sucks. I remember what I was doing now. So, tell me if people are pop. Yeah. Scatman's World. So anyway, tell me if people are popping into your chat.
I've got no one in my chat.
That's what we're in a bit of a rare mood.
Oh, there he is, the Noah, in the chat saying I was promised a podcast.
And welcome. Here it is. I hate this bitch. She's back. She was in the spot last time too. If you find one of the bandit trio, those totally cool characters that everybody likes and aren't just annoying, yeah. If you find one of them after you beaten the game, they give you nuggets.
Yes.
For beating them. And one decides to camp right in front of the spot where I'm trying to hunt these quillfish. So I am forced to engage with her at every opportunity, and she has a fucking Abomasnow, and my lead is Rapidash, so I literally just one-shot her every time. Annoying.
Oh, it's Clover. She's cute. I like Clover.
Agree to fucking disagree.
What? But I also just like Candace in general, so that's...
Oh, yeah, Candace is outside, dude.
Mom!
Okay, I can't taste nuts in your face. What you drop this time? 4 nougats. Thank you. All right. Well. Hey, stream.
Yeah. So, hi stream. I think it's should we go ahead and start the discussion? Why would you dodge that?
So we're gonna start the discussion.
Yes.
The discussion.
Yeah. So I guess for the quick recap, the last time we talked about the Hunter x Hunter anime just as a whole, our thoughts on it, how much we enjoy it,
Yes.
and kind of did a quick run through of all the arcs. Spoiler alert: I like basically all of them.
Yeah. No, we did a full coverage of Hunter x Hunter, and we did up to the second half of the Chimera Ant arc is where we stopped because we had to.
Yeah, because I had to go, and we spent so long just we took our time with it, which I think is good because I think Hunter x Hunter is one of those shows that like you don't really want to rush through. You really want to like enjoy it, like taking it in stride. And I say this not just because I never have time to watch it because our roommate is just not that committed to watching it with.
Well, before we get into the muck and mire, all right, what are you going to be doing in your stream today in Mr. Legends Arceus? What's the plan?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be just kind of working on maxing out my coverage for Graveler, partially to get research points and maybe even shiny hunt Graveler in the future, but mostly so I can get some Otterite ore to evolve Cleavor more easily.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't I just?
A little bit
I have like 5 or like 3 extra. Like you want me to trade? Like I could just trade you.
I don't think there's a way to trade items.
Oh, you're right, because you can't put items on Pokemon. That's true. Very true. So true, Bestie.
So true, Bisky.
I said Bestie, but okay.
Yeah, but I was making it Hunter x Hunter again.
Listen, I understand what you were doing.
You just don't agree.
All right, so and for me, I am going to be starting out with a hunt for quillfish, which is annoying. Very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're in the water, and it's really annoying to actually like clear them. So you just see if the first 4 are shiny or not, and then you leave.
Yeah. So just for the record, I absolutely love Hisui and Quillfish.
Yeah.
And I think that Overquill is neat.
Yeah. And I want the shiny, because I like shinies a whole heck of a lot. And I've never seen. Have you gotten a just like an overworld shiny, like wandering around?
I have not. My wife has. I have not.
I haven't either. Some of our friends have, but no, I've only gotten shinies from doing this method, the overpopulation method, whatever the heck it's actually called.
Mass Outbreak.
Mass outbreak method. Yes. And another fun little quirk. You weren't in the call when I was talking about this. So there's you know how when you talk to Mr. Professor Lavender.
Yes.
Whatever the heck his name is. Professor I'm totally a tree. Which, fun fact, he's the ancestor of do you know he's the ancestor of?
Was it confirmed or were just people thinking that? I saw that people were thinking he was the ancestor of the post-game bad guy. Oh, what's his name? like Chandler or something.
Chandler Bing from Friends.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that was his name.
No, I believe he's hold on. I believe he's the ancestor of different characters.
Mm?
So just think about what characters he might remind you of.
Oh, Noah says the prevalent theory is Hop and Leon.
Well, it's here's why the theory is popular, because in the Pokedex entry for Raichu, he mentions Copper live in his homeland. We know where Copper live.
Yeah.
The writing on his blackboard uses the alphabet from Sword and Shield instead of the style of writing everywhere else in the game. And he uses phrases such as jolly good and stuff like that. So, you know, it is believed that he is the ancestor of Hop and Leon. You know, the one and only, the unbeatable.
Yes, Hop.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. While doing this, I got my Basculin ready to evolve. That's cool.
But anyway, we got a bit off kilter here. What I wanted to say was when you go to leave and go back to the village, the Scum village, there's 3 options.
Yeah.
So it's 3 options when you go to leave, and it's I'm gonna keep doing research. I'm going back to the village and gotta go. You might notice 2 of those keep you there, and I think I have a game theory for why this is true. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're mashing the A button to talk to him, you know, you're mashing the A button, you're trying to get through like the data or whatever.
Yeah.
And you mash the A button and you mash it. When you mash the A button, it's gonna hit that first position, which is continue my excursion, and so you'll just exit back out, so you won't like be sent back to the village and through a loading screen by accident.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's there. Okay, now you get ready for this one because this is the game theory.
All right, shoot.
So the second option is there, gotta go, because you know when you're in menus in this game and a lot of other games, and you press the B button and it goes to the bottom option and immediately selects it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that also does that in that menu. And so my working theory is they had the code for when you press the B button, it goes to the bottom of the selectable menu and instantly hits it. And they didn't want to rework it, so it instead went to the top of the menu. So they just made a third option at the bottom. That's my game theory.
Oh my god, you're right. I'll be honest. That third option, I literally never thought about it until like you said it just now.
It's my game theory that it they just did that. They were like, you know, we could rework the code so it goes to the top option and instantly hits it, or we could just put an option at the bottom.
You know what? I'll say that game theory confirmed. I'll confirm
I think it's a pretty good game theory. I think it's a pretty good game theory. But that was it for Paggigalo's tangent, I guess. That's really
a good tangent.
Well, you know, it's just a theory, but a game theory, and you know what? It's probably better than every FNAF game theory you've ever heard. So, and it's probably truer than
the ones I haven't.
It's probably truer than every FNAF game you've ever heard. You know, speaking of, since we're here on the podcast today, have you heard about this new FNAF game?
Yes, I have, unfortunately.
What do you mean, unfortunately? Apparently, it's really good.
Yeah, that's also what I've heard. I actually watched the... I'm not going to tell you whose, but I did watch a playthrough of
Markiplier?
No, worse.
Oh. Let's think. Who did my good friend Wyrock watch? Jacksepticeye.
Nope. I don't think there's nothing wrong with watching some Jacksepticeye every once in a while.
You're saying there's something wrong with the person you watch? you
Oh, I
watch?
watched the Game Theory playthrough.
Oh, okay. There is
I don't
something
think there's
wrong with the
anything
person you
that.
watched.
I don't think there's like anything too wrong. I think he's mellowed out a bit over the years, but
I mean, he was a drama kid, right? Though, like so.
yeah.
They're gonna be melodramatic. The
Well,
stupid drama. I hate everyone who's ever been in drama in their life. All right.
I
So
know
anyway,
me too.
Corey. So anyway, Corey.
I'm the main case study.
Uh, but okay. I'm rolling back the tangents, the layers of tangents. I'm like, which tangent did I want to speak about some more? The new FNAF game looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks really good.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. The FNAF series as a whole, it's had its ups and downs. I think it's a genuinely good series, and it's whether or not it's a good series. I think it is. It's procured a lot of hate on the internet that is undue towards it. See the Fortnite syndrome, which Fortnite is, as much as like Fortnite mania is a thing,
Yeah.
and it's
Like as
annoying.
much as there is that sucks about Fortnite, it's like
Fortnite is the best battle royale. Like there's no question. And if you don't like battle royales, it's another story. But you can't say the game's bad.
yeah.
It's a very good game. So it's like, I feel like FNAF got a lot of that treatment over the years, where despite the games being either decent or at least like fun experiences, like fun little,
Yeah.
like they never sold themselves as anything more than like these little. You sit in a room and you watch a camera.
Yeah.
But this game is a little different. You get up, you move around, you actually walk around the area and stuff, and it actually looks really nice.
Yeah, not to mention and this is just, could be me. For me, like what I watched of it, the writing also seemed like good.
Yeah,
Maybe not phenomenal, but like good.
yeah, and I think FNAF has always had that kind of okay story writing in terms of like they tell the little mystery that they want to tell, and I think it came out in full force for this game. What the fuck? Fucking alpha spiel. But it came out in full force for this game, and I think it's a very good game. A very good game. But I'm not gonna play it still. So.
I'll tip my hat to
But
it.
congrats to Mr. Cawthorn. I was always a little suspicious of Scott Cawthorn until that one day where he told Matt Pett to shut up on Twitter. So then I was like, you know what? I like this guy.
100%.
It's like him and Toby
That is.
Fox.
Are you really a successful indie game dev if you haven't told Matthew Patrick to shut up?
Well, it's like it's either that or you become like the Hello Neighbor people. Where if you don't know what happened there, every time Hello Neighbor like released an update or released like a new game, they'd go on Twitter and be like, I think MatPat would really like her. I think MatPat would really.
No.
Which is a shame because I feel like Hello Neighbor back when it was a unknown indie game was actually this kind of interesting esoteric idea, and I'd say esoteric. It's not really that esoteric, but the point I'm trying to make is Hello Neighbor originally was like this little indie game about like you're going into your neighbor's house to get something back. I think like something went into like it's a classic like kid kicked his ball into a yard.
Yeah.
And you want to get it back. And you go into the neighbor's house, and it's just like this Euclidean geometry. It looks like a Salvador Dali art piece, and it's like that. The original idea behind that, like the Hello Neighbor game, was so cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real shame that they're fucking dog shit now.
I remember following like some stuff about it, like when it first came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much beyond that.
And it was really unique in my opinion, but oh well.
Well, they say game theory makes things worse.
Yeah.
Even at his best.
Yeah. Yeah.
That being said, though, I'll still defend him over the whole Undertale Pope thing. I think people got way too mad about that.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny. I think what's even funnier is people playing Megalovania at the like most recent like Vatican musical
that's why I
summit
was
thing,
thinking
and
about
people
it. That's
people
so
were
funny.
like, "Oh, the Pope's a fan. He became a fan."
The Pope's a fan.
Pat made him a fan. That was funny to me. Listen, I'll give Matthew Patrick the benefit of the doubt in that I think he had a genuinely good idea and he kind of carried it to a career. That being said, not a big fan of everything he's done, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to be a big fan of everything someone's done. Especially when they're Matthew Patrick. Yeah. But I digress.
Especially when they're Meruem, a.k.a. Kane, a.k.a. the Kane.
What are we supposed to be talking about here today?
Oh, the Sunway!
What are we supposed to be talking about here today? So we came here today. Are you, my fellow Americans? I've gathered you here today, not to talk endlessly about Matthew Patrick.
I've gathered you here today to tell you about the Pope.
My fellow Americans, you may have noticed we've been talking about Matthew Patrick for about 30 minutes, among other things. But here's the
thing. Not what Matthew Patrick can do for you, but what Five Nights at Freddy's can do for America.
We're a little frantic here today, but here's the thing. Okay, here's the skinny, the rub. Okay, we came here today. We gathered here today on the day of my daughter's wedding. Here to talk about one specific thing, and one specific thing. What is it? What is it, my co-host?
We are here to talk about the Hunter x Hunter Chimera
What the fuck?
Ant.
That's not what I'm here to talk about.
Oh. Anyway, check my stream title. Chimera Ant arc. Art or farce?
Art or fart?
No.
Farce. Would have been a better title. Sorry, I haven't been looking at chat. I've been kind of shooting the shit with my good co-host here. But hello, thank you, KP Senti, for stopping by. And thank you, Noah, as well.
He checks out your stream.
Our good friend AJ. I don't know.
I called him a furry.
I don't know what AJ. I mean, he is a furry. And you know, he tried to use that name, Faulty Rough or whatever. Tried to pass it off onto me. Shaking my damn head. Anyway, I don't know if he's here anymore. It was like 7 minutes ago. But thank you for stopping by nonetheless. And thank you, Noah, for being here as well. I'm sure Kyle has an excuse for this. He's totally at work, I bet. But also, like, we're not here to listen. We're not here to keep tabs on our friends, whether they're watching the stream or not. Like, okay, so let's see. What's Naku doing today? Where is he? And our good friend...
let's go at him in his personal Discord.
Good friend Croc Smolter, where is he at today? No. We still... Okay, this is a big event for us, you know, because here's the thing. First off, I don't stream anymore. Second off, it's a big event because... this is something that me and my good co-host here are passionate about talking about. And... otherwise, we'd have no way to talk about it. Like, really.
Who else are you going to talk for hours about to Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah, like, here's the thing. Nobody else in our friend group likes the things that we like. And that's not like... friend groups, you have your crossovers where it's like a certain amount of friends like this thing, certain amount of friends like this thing, you know?
Yeah.
Our friend group, nobody else in it. Like, and Naku, our good friend that we mentioned before, has watched Hunter x Hunter a couple times.
He's not trying to join our podcast.
He's not. He's too busy. Also not streaming. But I digress. the fact of the matter is, I don't think anyone else in our friend group has like played Kingdom Hearts.
True. Oh man, we're gonna have to have one of those too for the Patchy
Yes.
Rock cast.
Yeah, but no one else.
Dedicated to Data Sora.
No one else has watched Hunter x Hunter, and despite the fact that I have constantly tried to convince people, and another one of my servers, our New York group of friends. We have a bunch of friends from New York. They're a nice bunch of lads, and they're in another one of the servers that we're in. And I talked about them for hours and hours and hours. I've mentioned time and time again. I'll just bring it up in conversation. I'll just bring up Hunter x Hunter because I'm an asshole. And the idea is to get people to watch it. And one of my friends from New York, he ended up deciding to finally watch it. And he said it is very good as well. Like I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he also described to me the fact that he thought it was also quite good, and he thinks that I described it well enough. And so I was trying to use that as a leverage to be like, hey, look at this, other friends in the friend group. Why don't you guys watch it though?
We got one, boys.
No, nobody else wants to. It's like it's a slow and painful process. I'm pulling out the teeth. One day, everyone's gonna have watched Hunter x Hunter.
So,
not even my favorite anime, not even my favorite manga. You know?
Yeah, but
And
it's one of the ones.
It's like it's up there. So, not my favorite work of fiction, but it's something that I think everybody can get a little. Everyone can get a little something out of Hunter x Hunter. You know what I mean? I think.
I will say that I think a pretty good comparison of it for me, I think, would probably like FMA.
Yeah.
Like now that I've watched it, I'm like, okay, so like this is very good, very deep, very influential, and still worth watching through the hype.
Yes.
Of it being it's a classic and it's worth watching.
Well, I think the difference is nobody mentions Full Metal Alchemist anymore.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah, you'll go on forums and I'll still see people mention Hunter x Hunter and be like, well, Hunter x Hunter is like one of the best things, one of the best animes out there, and people will be like, oh, okay. Maybe it's because it's at the top of like my anime list or whatever, like the number one highest rated anime of all time. Nobody mentions Full Metal Alchemist, and that's something that I think one day we're gonna have to have a talk about that one.
Oh yeah, that's true. I need to rewatch it, both the original and Brotherhood.
The original.
Maybe I'll just watch like the first half of the original.
The original has its merits, I will say that. I'd say just watch Brotherhood again, though.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that watching at least like the first arc's worth of the original, or maybe
it's because
like important episodes from 2003.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again when we eventually talk about Full Metal Alchemist. I'll say it again. My only complaint about Brotherhood, my single complaint about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, is that it cuts out the early story of Full Metal Alchemist, because when Brotherhood came out, of course, it was shortly after, like in relative terms, it was shortly after the original Full Metal Alchemist anime series. And they assumed everybody already knew the beginning of the series, so they're like, we're not going to animate all that over again and like slow the pace down at the beginning. We're just going to go past it. Unfortunately, you lose some character moments because of that. So it's like, that's my only complaint.
But very regrettable.
So at the time, it was a wise choice, perhaps, but now in retrospective, going back to watch it, it ruins the experience. Not like in terms of, oh no, I can't watch this anymore. Quite contraire. You very much can watch it. But it does, like, you going in with the knowledge of the first couple episodes of the original is nice.
Yeah.
Because like you don't even get like the first interaction between what's his face? The
slimy guy?
Yes. He redeems himself in the end, okay. But you don't even get like the original introduction of him and like how he's a scumbag. and how the Eldrick brothers foiled his plans, and then it's like, when he just gets introduced later in the story, if you don't know him from the original series, you're just like, who the hell's this guy?
Yeah.
But I digress. Well, Alchemist Brotherhood, very good series, but that's not the. We're getting off topic again.
I know.
That's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, it's almost like we're a couple of buddies that like talking to each other.
It's almost like I was about to say, it's almost like we're doing everything in our power to not talk about Hunter x Hunter. Because we hate it. No, it's more like it's like when you're at the top of Mount Everest. That's where we're at right now. We're at the top of Mount Everest. We're about to talk about the second half of the Chimera Ant arc. We're sitting at the top. We have to go down. We have to get, and we're just waiting. We're spending our time, and that's not to say the second half of the Chimera Ant arc is, a step down in the series. Au contraire, it is some of the best moments in the series. But it is like we've climbed this mountain of Hunter x Hunter. We've explained the whole series. Now we have to get to the conclusion of our talks, which is the end of this arc, and we're stalling. Oh, you think I'm stalling? Like we're doing a little bit of that, not intentionally, but it's something that wouldn't be happening if we weren't as excited and passionate about this series.
I'm very excited to talk.
Have you? Here's a question for you, because it has been a little bit. Have you watched any of the remaining episodes, or no?
I have not.
See, that's what I expected coming in. I'm a little disappointed, though. You didn't do your homework.
You know what? I am too.
No, I expected that coming in.
This is a big secret time. Don't tell anyone. But me and my wife are probably gonna watch it on our own.
There's not many episodes left.
Yeah, that's true. We're pretty close.
It's the final arc.
Yeah, we got a little bit into it. We're like into the final arc, but yeah, we have not finished it. But today is mostly about the Chimera Ant arc. So even if we don't have the full fallout, I think most of my thoughts on the arc overall are still pretty set.
Yes, I think you will be. You will like the ending though. I love the ending. So.
Oh, also, I just got a shiny Prodley. Because I just stopped by a mass outbreak because it was there.
Oh, okay. Well, look at you. Meanwhile, I've reloaded the game for like the half a dozen, or quadruple dozenth time. I don't know. What just made that sound? Who the hell? What in the ever-living crud in my ranches just made that sound?
Quit digging at the couch.
There's nothing even out here. What the fuck?
Stop him.
Well, anyway,
yes.
let's take the train into station, the final station here. Take a little pit stop. We've taken it, I should say.
Yeah.
So last time when we left off, we were right about to get into it. We were right about to zip through the best part of the arc, which I think would have been a disaster.
Yes, it would have been disappointing to say the least.
But like Hunter x Hunter, we surpassed your expectations, and now here we are. And luckily today we can go as long as I don't know how long you can go.
Till 4.
Okay.
That's when we're stuck. Loop on.
We can go a good distance.
I'm gonna go check Red out of the room.
And one more, like Hunter x Hunter, will surpass your expectations, subvert them. You thought we were about to start talking about it, but instead, we gotta let dogs out of the room. So, joke's on you.
I'm back.
Is that a shiny jingle I just heard? No. So hey, back. I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Oh my! She's back again! Get away!
Listen, you got that money in the bank.
I just flew around. So, let's pull into the final station, get ourselves on track, pull the lever, for the railroad, so we can make sure that we're locked in.
Yes. Locked in.
Locked in
Pop it, lock it,
gamers.
rock it.
Popped in, locked in gamers. Here we are today. All right. So, Hunter x Hunter. Where we left off, we literally left off the Palace Invasion arc. Much like Hunter x Hunter, where it leaves you off on that one episode where they literally enter the palace and Yuppie sitting there on the stairs. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We've just left ourselves off. They've just gone all through the portals, Knob's portals, and they've ended up at the bottom of a staircase.
Yes. So I don't even know how I want to talk about this.
It's a daunting task. Like you where do you even start?
Yeah. So I guess we could break it up into different skirmishes.
Well, I think first to start off with, before we even get to the different skirmishes, we can start off with Morel, Knuckle Shoot, Gon Killua, and their new Chimera Ant friends,
Ikalgo
and Melorion. Melorion.
They pronounce it in the dub. I don't know if you're just taking the piss or not.
Melorion. Listen, he's a chameleon man. They all come through the portals, and they all go through the one specific portal that is the closest to the king's chamber, which is the one that's underneath the staircase, kind of directly there, because they want to get in as fast as possible. Because their job during this whole Chimera Ant thing is to separate the kind of Kingsguard from the king. That's what their job is. So they're going in as close as possible to try to do their job, separate P2, UP, and Poof from the king. So that's what they want to do.
Running through the woods, he shall the Poof.
Yes. So they want to separate them from the king. At the same time, Netero and Xeno Zoldyck decide to rain hell down on the Chimera Ants' little palace party, and they do Xeno does this thing called like a dragon dive, I think is what the move's called, where it just sends out a bunch of Nen arrows and they just rain from the sky and come crashing down into the palace. So these two old men are coming down from the sky the same time that they're all coming out. And it's a little bit hectic, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Because
grumpy old men.
Because these grumpy old men, you know. And it turns out I guess the first thing we'll talk about is P2. What am I doing? But the first thing we can talk about is P2 kind of sees these old men descending, and she goes to intercept because, you know, she's a Kingsguard. That's what she does. She goes to intercept, and then Netero basically laughs at her and says, "Get the fuck away from me."
I know that a big moment of the strongest character that we've seen actually in action in the show so far is P2, because Meruem hasn't really done much in terms of like actually fighting anyone yet. So P2's like the strongest person we've seen in action so far. And so we just see her get swapped away by Netero.
Yeah, he calls her like a little fly and swats her away. Literally, like, sends her miles away from the palace. She uses her ability, Dr. Blythe, to kind of slingshot herself back, so she's not out of the fight entirely. But he kind of clears her away for the moment. And while that's happening, Yuppie's just sitting on the stairs. He's being he's thinking to himself. He's having thoughts, and he's guarding the staircase. And wouldn't you know it, but 4 weirdos come out of a hole.
Yes.
4 weirdos come out of a hole. And he's like, "Who the hell are these guys?" And these are of course Gon Killua, Shoot, and Ikalgo coming out of the hole there. Unbeknownst to Yuppie himself, there's 2 more weirdos. Or actually 3 more. No, I forgot. What's his face? Morel.
Yeah.
So Morel's there as well. So 5 weirdos. Unbeknownst to them, there's 2 more weirdos. There's Knuckle and Melorion, because Melorion's power to make someone truly invisible, like true invisibility, I guess. He's used it on Knuckle, and him and Knuckle are kind of there as well, but Yuppie can't detect them in any way, shape, or form. So there are 7 people there. Yuppie at the bottom of the stairs. What does Yuppie do? He sees a crowd of people climbing up the stairs. What does he do?
He grows like 1,000,000 arms, 1,000,000 eyes.
In a split second, he essentially transforms his body into like this ultimate all-seeing, like, I can see everywhere, I can hit everywhere, and just goes fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's just full throttle.
He obliterates the staircase so they can't get up easily. And the only ones that I think are there with him are Knuckle and Melorion, because they were first. So they're on his side, and they give him a solid smack.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what the fuck? Because you have to figure, he took this split second to essentially supremely evolve himself into this super form so that he could stop all these intruders that came running at once. And suddenly, unknowing to him, he doesn't even see the intruder that just wallops him in the side and moves him over. And this is actually before he destroys the... Or no, is it after he destroys the staircase? Because he destroys the staircase, they run up it while he's destroying it, so... Yeah, semantics.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens, he destroys the staircase, but Knuckle kind of pushes him aside with his punch. And he lets the others kind of go through, specifically Gon, Killua, and Ikalgo, I think, goes with them. And Morel, I think, leaves as well. And Shoot and Knuckle. Shoot might run past as well. So it might just be... everyone might just run past Yuppie there. I don't remember exactly.
I think everyone runs past, but Knuckle and Shoot stay behind to do the fighting.
Yeah. But an interesting note I have to mention before I forget. So in this moment where the dragon dive is happening, these Nen arrows are coming through the sky. They're piercing down. They're destroying everything. Okay? Our characters are running up the staircase. These Nen arrows are coming down. Yuppie's destroying the staircase. He's trying to prevent them from getting up. 2 of our characters, I think it's Shoot and Killua. They realize if Knuckle and Melorion are hit here by these Nen arrows, we will have no idea if they were hit, and we will have no idea if Melorion's power will deactivate, meaning they could already be dead and gone.
Oh, yeah.
They could be done. Like, we don't even know. These characters, they don't even know if Knuckle and Melorion are okay. They could have been hit by a stray Nen arrow and just be dead on the floor. They don't know. So that's a big part of this as well, is like, we don't know who's here with us. And, of course, that's resolved by Knuckle punching Yuppie in the side, and everyone's like, oh, okay, so we know they're alive still.
Mm-hmm. But it's still that little moment. There are so many moments.
It's one of those little moments that makes this arc really nice. It's like they thought about this strange edge case that these characters are thinking of in their head. So it's so they knock him aside. I think Gon and Killua go past him. I think Morel uses like smoke on him at that point. And then Shoot and Knuckle, like Morel uses smoke on him and like he distracts him, and then Shoot and Knuckle engage in the fight with him essentially. But what Knuckle's done is he's activated his power, which we talked about last time, which is the power to kind of take an interest of your Nen, and over time, and if the number it builds up exponentially, and if the number exceeds the number of your Nen power, like the power of stored Nen you can have, you go bust, and you can't use Nen for 30 days. So this is Knuckles' power, and it's now on Yuppie. Yuppie has this on him. What this means is that there is now a time little switch on Yuppie, and Knuckle just has to keep the time switch on until Yuppie can no longer use Nen, and then they can just take care of him once it's done.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just Knuckle and Malorion have to stay hidden. Shoot has to distract him, so they have enough time until Yuppie is basically useless. So that's their fight.
Mostly useless. Worth noting that even without their Nen, they're still incredibly powerful.
They're still way more powerful than humans, but are they more powerful than humans with Nen abilities? That's a question to be put up into, Ramot got his ass beat. That's all I can say. But I digress. That's going on a little bit, but that's where our first fight is set. It's Malorion, Knuckle, and Shoot fighting Yuppie, more or less. So that's the first fight is set. That's the first of the Kingsguard taken away from him, taken away from the king, so that Netero can focus on the king, which is the goal, so they can get Netero to fight the king. So moving on.
I should probably pull up a synopsis just so that way I have things in order.
Actually, does this, before they really move on, does the thing with Shoot happen?
The thing with Shoot happen. I want to say some other stuff has happened, but I think that for the most, I think we can just go on ahead and pause for now, because I kind of think we should talk about the individual pair-ups by themselves.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. This what the idea was. I was like, we could talk about, because we have that fight going on. We have the Yuppie, Shoot, Knuckle, and Malorion fight going on. What else do we got going on that's going to be going on next?
Yeah. So next up is going to be the sequence between Meruem, what's her name? The snotty girl.
Komogi.
Yeah, Meruem, Komogi, into P2, into Don Killua.
Right. Okay, so
leaving. So that sequence is happening sort of alongside this very soon.
Yes. So what happens during that dragon dive? The not invisible, but the powerful Nen arrows. I guess they're invisible to Komugi technically, but bygones be bygones. These Nen arrows. What happens is the King and Komugi, they're playing a game of whatever it's called. They're playing a game, shogi, I think, something like that. They are playing a game, and the king is still trying to beat Komugi at her game, even though, as we talked about last time, there's some weird stuff going on with the king. He's not sure if he hates Komugi or likes her. I just heard the shiny noise for sure. Yep, oh boy.
Power play.
I just got a shiny little monkey fella, little apom fella. Hello, beautiful. All right, well, sorry about that little distraction. Well, that was my first overworld shiny. That's pretty exciting.
Nice. Good for you.
So, back to what we were talking about. We have these Nen arrows coming down. Komugi and the king are playing a game. The Nen arrows come through the roof of the place where Komugi and the king are playing, and lo and behold, one hits Komugi right in the stomach. So Komugi is out of commission. I believe when you were at this point of the story, you told to me, you said to me, we're at the part where she just died.
I think so. It sounds.
I think that's what you said to me, and I was like, "Oh, keep watching," because she doesn't die there yet. She gets. taken out of
dead.
commission. She gets taken out of commission. And Pitou comes in the room and is like, my king. Like, she's like, what do you need from me? And he's like, please heal Komugi. Like, he's like, I don't need you to do anything else. I just need you to focus on healing her right now. That's all I want from you. So it's a little bit of a moment.
A bit of a what's it called? A bit of a humanizing moment for Meruem.
Yes. And it's this moment that he kind of asks her, and Pitou complies, and she starts healing her with Dr. Blythe at that time as well. I don't know if she started healing yet. I think they're just talking when Netero and Zeno walk in. So Netero and Zeno walk in, and I think this is when Meruem's still holding Komugi in his arms. And he's like crying out for help from Pitou. And Netero and Zeno see this. And they just stop and watch. And I think it's Zeno who says a little bit later, in like an episode or two later, when he meets up with Killua, he says, "This isn't what I signed up for." Because, Zeno was expecting like these creatures, deadly creatures, these deadly ants. Lo and behold, it's just a human. It's an ant, but he's acting like a human. He's worrying about somebody that he cares about. It's very humanizing. Zeno's not. It's a little different in his mind from what he envisioned, I guess.
Yeah.
So they have that. And Zeno and Netero are just standing there watching him like kind of cry out. And then Pitou comes in and they come to a deal. And then Netero and Zeno are like, listen. Netero's like, listen, we need to fight. I know your girlfriend just got taken out. And you're like really worried, but like we also need to fight right now. So like, could you hurry this up? So the king goes, okay. And the king he agrees to it. He says, let's get the hell out of here. I don't want to fight here though. So Netero and Zeno are standing there, and the king just kind of walks past them, and they have this moment where they're just like, oh, because they didn't, the king just like, he just walks through them essentially without them being able to sense him with this like incredible speed. He just goes, and they just have this moment where they're like, oh,
this guy's business.
He's very powerful, but it's not like a move of like he's attacking them or anything. He's just like, king's ready to go. He's like, get me the fuck out of here.
He just walks on by nonchalantly, and it's like they were caught off guard.
Yeah, they were completely caught off guard. So they go outside. Zeno summons a Nen dragon to take Meruem and Netero away. And this is where Gon and Killua kind of come out, and they see this happening. They see them going away, and then they go over to Zeno, and Zeno's like, listen, this isn't what I signed up for. And Killua was like, what are you talking about, Gramps? What's happening? And he's like, you know what, you can go inside for yourself and check it out. I'm not going to explain it to you. Like, you guys go over there. I know you guys already have, I don't know if Zeno knew, but Netero knew that Gon and Killua had a thing with Pitou. So he was like signaling them like, oh, she's in there, that kind of thing. So Xena was like, "Go in there and figure it out yourself. I'm sure you'll see something interesting." That's what he basically said to Killua, and so Killua was like, "What? What does he mean? Like, go and figure it out for yourself? Like, see for yourself? Like,
What
huh?
could throw off my daddy?
Yeah. Well, like, what could throw off my
Granddaddy.
grandfather?" So they go inside, and they see Pitu healing Komugi. So this is, and I want to take a break here real quick. Reverse, quick reverse.
Yeah.
And before we talk about that, I want to talk about where the last Kingsguard is at the moment. That's Shia LaPouf. He's doing his own thing. He's in the throne room where he sees I don't know what he sees there. He sees something. I forget, what does he see?
Does he see? I know he fights with Moral first.
Yeah, that's what. Like, I thought he was like up in the throne room for some reason. He was like, I think he was just like playing the violin, being a melodramatic asshole or something.
That's what he does.
So he was up there like playing the violin, being like, "Oh my king, oh," and Morel finds him up there, and Morel traps him in Smoky Jail. And the reason why he does this is because he wants Shia LaPouf to stay away from the king, so that he can't help him, so that him and Netero can fight. So Morel's. This is where our last Kingsguard is. He's trapped in a fight with Morel. It's just him and Morel.
Yes.
And we talked about Poof's powers last time. His powers are like these powers of control, so he has like these scales of control over other people and that kind of thing. So far, that's really all we've seen from him.
Mm-hmm.
So all we really know is like he's this kind of he has control over other people, and we don't really know anything about his powers. And I guess we can leave that at that for now. We can come back to it later. I just wanted to clarify that that's where the last Kingsguard was, and like we have two characters over there doing stuff.
Yeah.
So now we go back. We jump back to Gon and Killua. They find Pitu healing Komugi.
And Pitu is very polite about asking them to not bother her.
Yeah.
And Gon loses his freaking mind.
So this is one of the episodes that I remember when like people were talking about it and like after it came out and all that stuff, people were like freaking out, People
talking about it in real time.
Yeah, and like people when they watch it, because it's this. We talked about it last episode, and I know I'm saying that a lot, but we did. We talked about it last episode where you see Gon progress as a character throughout the series, and you see little inklings of like clues that God, that boy ain't right in the head,
Yeah, he's a little unhinged.
But that boy, there's something wrong in that head of his, and that's true here because we see Gon looking at Pitu, and he sees Pitu, and she's healing Komugi, and he asks her, why are you healing her? Like, what are you doing to her? Like, at first he doesn't even know what she's doing. Like, he thinks he's hurting her. She's hurting her, or whatever. Like, that's what he thinks is happening. Like, she's doing something nefarious.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, I'm healing her. And Gon's like, what the fuck do you mean? What are you talking about? And he's like, how could you heal her? And she says, I'm healing her because she's important to someone important to me. And this is kind of when Gon like goes like, how could you like to Gon? This is like, this is the like reversal for him. This is like he sees like their humanity, which is something that like seeing the humanity in his opponents is something Gon has kind of done the whole series. Sort of like like understanding the people he fights is something that he kind of strives to do in a lot of cases. And in this case, he gets some of that understanding, and it just ticks him off so hard, it just breaks something. Yeah, because, here's the thing. He looks at her healing Komugi, and he goes, why couldn't you have done that for Kite? In his mind, Kite's this figure that's important to him, and the dog's going wild. But
yeah, they're going.
but it shows a bit of his hypocrisy in like this. He says, how could you like have importance for her over importance for him? But at the same time, Gon's doing the same exact thing, except in reverse. He's saying Kite's more important. And it's something that is kind of been present throughout the series. The biggest moment where it has been present before is when meeting the spiders in the York New City arc. When these spiders capture Gon and Killua, and Gon says to them, he's like, how could you kill people randomly? Like, I don't understand it. How could you like do this kind of thing to people? And
when they care about each other much.
Yeah, when they care about it. Like, how can you care about specific people but not like anyone else? And to Gon, that's like such a foreign concept. And here we see it to the extreme. It's such a foreign concept. Like, how could you care about this girl but not about, Kite? Like, it doesn't make sense to Gon that people can care about specific people but not other people. To him, that just doesn't make sense in his worldview. So he freaks out.
He does, but then he holds back for a second.
And and so Killua is like examining the situation. He's trying to realize what's happening. And he realizes the stuff earlier than Gon, but he realizes, I can't tell Gon these things or else Gon's going to be angrier. Of course, Gon ends up figuring it out anyways and getting angry. So it's like this whole situation's happening, and then Patu ends up prostrating herself and breaking her arm and being like, listen, I'll break anything that you need me to break to prove that I'll be docile. I'll sit here, I'll wait, and I'll listen to whatever request you have. I just have to do this first. I have to complete this mission that the king has given me, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally Gon, he has in a little crybaby attack, and then after that he relents and is like, okay, I'll sit here for an hour and I'll wait. And after that, I'm taking you to Kite, and you're fixing him up. I'm taking your hair. And Killua tries to talk to Gon, and this is one of the big moments of this arc. This whole thing's been happening with Gon, and Killua tries to talk to Gon, and he's like, Gon, you just need to like be calm about this, think about this. And Gon snaps back. This is the first time like Gon's really snapped at Killua we've seen in the whole series, and Gon says, and it's not even like this huge major thing, but it's Gon kind of being like a little bit of a prick. And he says to Killua, he says, it must be nice for you, Killua, because this doesn't mean anything to you. So the implication there is that Gon thinks Killua doesn't care because Killua doesn't really know Kite and all that. Gon thinks Killua doesn't really care about this, and he's just telling Gon to be calm because he doesn't care. In reality, Killua cares a whole lot. His best friend is going crazy right now.
Absolutely buck wild bonkers sauce.
And when Killua tries to do anything in his power to try to calm him down, his friend immediately flips on him and says like, "Oh, you don't even give a shit." So that's kind of Killua immediately becomes depressed.
Understandably so.
Killua's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna leave now," and he leaves. He says, Gon, you know what? You can sit here, do whatever you want. You can have your little hissy fit. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go help everyone else out because it's gonna hurt me too much to be sitting here with you acting like a fucking baby.
Mm-hmm.
So Killua leaves. And that's where we leave Gon and Killua for the moment. Because in order to explain the next part with Gon, we need to explain the rest of Morel and Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
So, we're zooming a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't.
We're zooming. We got. I think like this is the point where like we have 3 skirmishes going on, right? So there's the Don and Killua one, which at this point it's all pretty basic. and like up front, so we've kind of covered that one, at least the first part.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Knuckle and Shoot and Meliorone versus Yuppie.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the moral of the story and actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Interesting to note, while this is all happening, character we haven't mentioned that came through the portal, Ikalgo.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm so mean to Okalgo.
Ikalgo, what he was trying to do, if you remember from last time, we talked about how Palm infiltrated the palace and went missing, and we don't know what happened to her.
Yes.
So that's what Ikalgo was trying to do. He was trying to find Palm, essentially. That was his part of the mission. He was trying to
Okalgo's on track down Palm duty.
he was trying to find her. So that's what he was doing. We'll get back to him in a little bit, I guess. Just wanted to mention that he's there. So we have Morel versus Poof. I think this is the one we should continue on next.
Yeah, Morel versus Poof. I think we actually did cover some of the we covered some of the Shoot stuff last time.
Okay.
Because I think I was talking about my thoughts on Shoot in general, and that kind of turned into us talking about that fight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, Morel and Poof. So Morel traps Poof in this smoky jail. That's what his power's called. He traps him in the smoky jail dome, and Poof's trapped in there. And Poof's trying to think, like, what do I do to get out of here? And Morel thinks that Poof's gonna try and come at him and beat the crap out of him. Mm-hmm. So Morel's ready for a fight. Poof, what he does instead is he goes into a cocoon. He wraps himself in a cocoon and sits in the middle. And Morel goes, well, that just made my job a lot easier. I don't have to worry about him going anywhere because he's right there. I don't have to.
We're just gonna sit here.
We're just gonna sit here and we're gonna chill. I don't have to do anything. Lo and behold, what Poof was actually doing instead of going into a cocoon is he was slowly releasing tinier and tinier pieces of himself. He split himself into 1,000,000 tiny pieces and split small enough that he could fit through the smoke of Smoky Jail, and just started going. So he slowly let out more and more parts of his body over time. Shia LaBeouf, he starts out only having small amounts of himself out, and then it builds up over time, and he finally gets most of himself out. And then Morel realizes, oh wait, he's been escaping this whole time. Morel thought, oh, I'm good, I can chill. But in actuality, Poof was escaping. And so Morel, he realizes he's been escaping this whole time. He lets down Smoky Jail because he doesn't think any of Poof is left. When it turns out there's still a lot of Poof left inside there. And he's like, hey, thanks for freeing me early. See ya. So Poof basically completely and utterly beats Morel in a battle of wits. He just obliterates him, and Morel's just like, oh. So Morel...
kind of.
Mostly. Not entirely. So Morel goes, well, he's defeated me. I need to go off and look for him. And kind of look around and see if I can help anyone else as well. So that's where Morel goes. And that's where we'll leave him for now.
Yeah.
So Morel goes and he's trying to...
This does come to one of the parts about the arc that I don't like.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if I should be talking about the stuff that I don't like sort of spread throughout more, or if we want to...
feel free to go ahead.
Do that more at the end. Okay, so... This kind of gets into one of the parts of this this specific palace whole sequence that I don't like. Is that the narrator is everywhere.
Narrator's working overtime in this part.
Narrator is working overtime, and it is very... A lot of this arc, a lot of these sequences almost feel more like we are watching a YouTube video about this fight scene as opposed to actually watching a fight scene in action.
Yeah, at points it feels almost like you're watching the documentary of how the hunters wiped out the Chimera Ants, 20 years later, the unseen documentary.
Yeah, so I think specifically in the, not necessarily in the battle of wits between Xiao and Moral, although there is some of it in there proper if I remember, but it's more in the aftermath of it. So they're Oh, so Moral, actually, the reason he did that was because, in the back of his mind, he knew that his friends and allies probably wouldn't be able to hold out without assistance much longer.
I forgot. I forgot about that.
And that moment is just so like, like that's something we could have intuited. They could have put some stuff
Yeah,
in
they're
there
like
to
that's not.
sort of help us intuit it. But like, if you just go out and say that, it sort of undercuts the idea that Moral lost that engagement, right? Like the
Yeah.
fact that it sort of undercuts that, and it sort of takes the result of that skirmish sort of like out of the like sort of like diegetic, like this is what's happening, this is what we're watching, and into the realm of like I just like post hoc analysis. And it's like that is one of the moments for me that
Yeah.
like this arc is trying to do a whole lot, and there's a whole lot of good that it's doing, but like that's one moment for me that falls a little flat. It's
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, and the way I always took that kind of line and like that, because that is like a weird. It just feels like a weird line. Like it's like Morel was always planning to do this. You see, aha! Like it feels like a weird line almost. The way I always took the line is like Morel fucked up. Poof got out. Morel didn't do his part of the mission. So instead, Morel's going to go look for his students who are probably screwed over right now and try to help them out. That's the way I always took it. Is that like Morel's like, well, I fucked up. The least I can do is try to save like my students who are
but
probably
he
in
doesn't
a bad
actually say
situation.
that though. The whole
No, no,
thing
no, no,
about
no. He doesn't. Like, and
like it was
that's
his internal
yeah.
moral sense.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like the way I interpret the line, instead of it being like Morel knew the whole time that he needed to go help. Like the way I interpret the line is instead that Morel's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go help now because I screwed up.
Hmm.
Like I screwed up. I have to make amends for my screw up by helping out, the people that I care about here.
Yeah. All in all, probably a minor gripe for me overall because there's a lot going
Yeah.
on in this arc. But that's kind of like that is one exemplary of the issues I have with the narrator for this part of the arc,
Hmm.
and also like one moment that stood out to me as sort of like
Yeah.
the arc falling a bit short of where it's shooting for.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the narrator has his moments. He's a character, like more or less. He's a character in the arc. It feels like he has his moments later on, specifically after the Netero Meruem fight. But we'll get there. So,
We're on our way.
Knuckle and Shoot's fight happened. We supposedly talked about it a bit last time, where Shoot basically stalls for time, and he's basically putting his life on the line, stalling for time so that Knuckles' power can go off. And so he's stalling for time. He eventually gets taken out, and he's laying on the ground. I don't know if we talked about this part specifically.
We did not talk about this part. We mostly talked about how like Shoot's whole like sudden growth, like explosive, like new power, his sort of like all of his internal monologuing, everything the narrator says about him. All of that I didn't think was necessarily bad, but it felt very underdeveloped and kind
Yeah,
of out of nowhere.
and I agree. I agree. Shoot is an underdeveloped character, in my opinion. But anyway, Shoot's fight with Yuppie happens. Shoot ends up failing, and he's on the ground. He's on the ground, and Yuppie's gonna go and fucking obliterate him, and Knuckle distracts Yuppie yet again. And Yuppie's like, what the fuck is happening? And so Yuppie gets a little distracted for a little bit. And then I don't remember exactly what happens with Yuppie. I think I think Knuckle like just hits him, and Yuppie gets like distracted for a little bit. He's like, what is happening? Why can't I see, this enemy or whatever?
Hmm.
And then Yuppie comes back to the room where he fought Shoot a moment ago, and Shoot thinks that Yuppie's going to kill him. Shoot's like, oh, he's come back to kill me. So Yuppie
And
looks.
Yuki makes the conscious decision to just not care. He's like, eh.
Yeah, it's not even like I respect you as an opponent or like I see you there and I'm going to spare your life. Yuppie just walks by, sees him on the ground, and doesn't care, and he just keeps walking. he just says whatever. Like Yuppie essentially is saying you pose so little threat to me that I do not care about you anymore. Goodbye.
Not even gonna finish you off. Just peace.
And then Knuckle finds Shoot again, and Knuckles like, Shoot, are you okay? And Shoot's like, oh, I'm okay. Everything about me is okay. Spoiler alert, it's not. But it's like, everything about me is okay, except for my pride. That motherfucker hurt my pride. You gotta beat the shit out of him, Knuckle.
He also broke your leg.
Yeah, he also, like, tore you apart. But he's like, I can't live with the fact that
The pride.
I can't live with the fact that he just walked by me like I was a bug on the ground. And Knuckles like, I'll get him for you, buddy. I'll beat him up.
I love Knuckles, but he's so stupid.
So that's where that is. So we're gonna see Morel join them in a little bit, but before we go that, let's go to the victor of the Morel Poof fight, despite the narrator's opinions. So the victor of the Morel Poof fight, Poof, what has he gone off to do? He's going to immediately go to the last place where he saw the king at. Where's that? That's in the room with Komugi, where Komugi is now being healed by Dr. Blythe. And he goes in there and he sees an odd scene. It's Komugi. She's being healed by Dr. Blythe, that I just mentioned. And there's also... It's weird to him that... first off, it's weird to him that What's-Her-Face is even healing Komugi. Like, he's like, why are you even doing this?
Mm-hmm.
But in the second part, she's also prostrating herself to this weird child sitting in the corner. Or in the middle of the room, more or less. Gon's sitting there, and Poof's like, what is going on here? What the hell is going on here? I'm going to kill this weird child. And what's it? Why am I blanking on her name now?
P2?
Yeah, P2. P2's like, please don't do anything, Poof. Please, like we're at like a standstill right now. And and Poof's like, what are you even doing? Like, I don't understand. She's like, the king ordered me to do this, and Poof's like, because you have to realize at this point, I don't know if we talked about it, but Poof does not like Komugi because he thinks it's perverting the king into like this different person. So Poof does not like Komugi at all. So he sees that she got an order from the king to heal Komugi, and he's like, shut the fuck up. He does not care. And so he's like, well, if I can't kill this child, and if you're gonna keep sitting there, healing her or whatever, I'm just gonna leave. And Gon's like, no, you don't. You leave when I say so. And Poof's like, really?
I do love that moment of Gon just being like such a sort of like standing up to like he's got two royal guards on either side of him. He is like debatably in the most danger of anybody else in the in the arc at this exact moment. Debatably. And he is just gives no F's either way.
Yeah. No, and then he just pulls the same Poof just pulls the same trick that he pulled on Morel. He just says, "Okay, I'll stay here," and then just releases parts of himself out of his back. So he does the same exact trick once again. So
same trick.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah, so we have that. I guess we can talk about the so we need to talk about Knuckle versus Yuppie specifically, so the one-on-one fight. And specifically, we do need to start talking about Yuppie's development.
Before that, I think we should talk about Ikalgo for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about Ikalgo. Once again.
So
Everyone
Ikalgo.
forgets about Ikalgo.
So Ikalgo uses his powers of Squid Game, to transform himself into a dead Chimera Ant called Flutter. It was in the arc a little earlier. I don't know how long Flutter's been dead at this point, but
He's been dead for like a day or so.
yeah. So
'Cause
Flutter's
Moral took him out like
yeah.
recently.
So Flutter's been dead for a little bit, and Ikalgo finds his body, takes him over, and is sneaking through the base. Doom, 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 doom. So some of the other Chimera Ants interact with him. I think the important ones are Bloster and
Welfin.
Welfin.
Yeah.
Those
So Gloucester is the lobster with machine gun hands, and Welfin is a character that we've seen a little bit up to this point, like trying to curry favor with different characters. He's kind of a slimy opportunist type.
Mhm.
And Gloucester has had zero development up to this point. Absolutely.
And that is going to remain mostly true until the end of the arc. So Bluster's just kind of there. So so they interact. Bluster and Welfin interact with him while he's in Flutter, and they're like, "Hey, Flutter, how's it going?" And Ikalgo's like, "Yeah, how's it going?" And I forget exactly what he does, but it's so when the Chimera Ants broke off from the Queen and they started following the King, they were able to name themselves basically.
Yeah.
Before they didn't really have names.
Well, no, they did have names.
They had
before,
names, but they were like given to them.
But as they gained more memories of their past lives and more individuality, sort of as stuff went on, they gave themselves new names that more accurately reflected themselves.
Yeah. And so Flutter gave himself a new name. I don't remember what it was. But Flutter gave himself a new name, but Ikalgo's in his body. Or no, it wasn't even Flutter's.
Yeah, it was Hadia's name.
Yeah, it was
started as Hadia, his name changed to Lael, but
yes, so
Ikalgo did not know that.
So yes, the Tiger Man that Morel had killed previously, the Tiger Man changed his name, and Flutter was like his number one assistant, or like he was his right hand man. So Bloster, I think, brings up, he's like, "Hey, what's going on with what's his face?" And he's like, and Ikalgo just brings up the wrong name. He essentially brings up the wrong name. So while they're they're riding an elevator. I should have mentioned this. They're riding an elevator. Him, Bloster, and Welfin, I think. Or wait, did they meet in a hallway?
Okay, wait, no. Okay, wait. The Bloster stuff happens later. It's it's Welfin that he meets in the hallway, I think. And then there are two unrelated Chimera Ant arcs there.
No. It's yes, it's Welfin and two other Chimera Ant arcs, but Bloster's like around the corner spying on them, I thought, or something like that. Like, it's something weird.
He's like there, connected. He's part of the Dane.
Either way, both Bloster and Welfin realize that Ikalgo is not Flutter. They're like, that's not Flutter. Who the hell is that? So Ikalgo goes down the elevator, goes into the basement. Bloster immediately follows behind him. Goes down in the elevator thing right behind him. Because he's sus as fuck. You know, imposter.
There is a squid dame among us.
So Bloster kind of follows him while he's trying to do some investigation down in this basement area, which we haven't really gotten much information on. All we know is that the basement area is where the only human left in the castle, which is like I don't know what role he had. I forget.
Accountant, secret head of the state.
Yeah, something like that. The ants kept him around because he covered their finances or something. Who knows?
Since he ran everything behind the scenes, he helped to make sure that other nations didn't realize what was going on there for a while, at least.
So he has this little basement area where he keeps women down there because he's a scumbag.
Yes.
So he has women down there that he orders, like mail order brides, essentially. And that's where Palm went. The team knows that Palm went there. So that's why Ikalgo's going down there. He's going down there to search for her. So Kalgo goes down there, and he's trying to find Palm. I think he finds a message from Palm or something. And then, lo and behold, Bloster's like, "Hey, what you doing, buddy?" So Bloster's like talking to him, and Kalgo's very nervous. He's like, "Why the fuck did he follow me down here? Like, what's going on?" And Bloster, what he's trying to do here is essentially trick Kalgo into revealing that he's not Flutter, which he does. And as soon as he does, he immediately starts blasting.
So anyway, I started blasting. Anyway, I started blasting.
So, he blasts Flutter's body to bits. He doesn't know that Kalgo's in there. He just knows that Flutter's acting sus. So he thinks that because he blasted Flutter's body to bits, he killed whatever it was. He thinks he killed Kalgo. He didn't actually kill Kalgo. Kalgo hid. And Kalgo gets out scot-free. Bloster is like, all right, well, my job's done. See you later. Oh, wait, no. Bloster, he goes, see you later. But then Bloster goes in the elevator, but he can't go up the elevator because you need a passcode. And he's like, oh, I don't have the passcode. Let me exit the elevator again. So Kalgo, who thinks he's fine because Bloster left, actually Bloster came back because he didn't have the passcode. So then Kalgo's like, fuck, why is he back again? I forgot about this. Because he comes back, right? So Kalgo's made his way into the control room. Bloster's out there, and he's like, I don't know if Bloster's suspicious anymore or what's happening, but he's like, I need to get the passcode so I can get out of here. Kalgo rolls out with a tank.
Oh, that's right.
Kalgo has a tank, and he's like, hello. And Bloster's like, what? What's going on? So he tries to blast the tank. Kalgo blasts him instead, but it turns out the tank doesn't have bombs or anything like that. It just has sleeping gas, so it knocks out Bloster.
And Kalgo is going to kill him, but chicken's out.
Yeah, so Kalgo has the gun to Bloster's head, and he's like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. And then he's like, I can't bring myself to do it. At the end of the day, he couldn't bring himself to kill him. Because Kalgo's a good man.
Oh, poor Kalgo.
But let's not talk about his human side. But, as we're going to find out here in a second, because once Kalgo goes back to the control room, Wilfin's in there.
Yep.
It's like a comedy. It's like a comedy of Kalgo just can't get away with it. He's the worst imposter.
He's just always being sus. No escape for Kalgo.
So Welfin's in there. Welfin's like, you're a sussy baka, I know you are. Welfin has a power his Nen power is called Missile Man. And it's a power that if you lie to him, it will shoot missiles and kill you. That's the power. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't remember exactly how it went down. But essentially, Kalgo ends up talking down Welfin. And then they end up talking to each other. And Welfin says, you might remember when we talked about this for a little bit in the past. But Welfin says, I was a follower of Gyro.
Yeah, so this was actually a part that confused me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it wasn't in the anime or if I just completely forgot about it, but like the whole Gyro, or who's heavily implied to be Gyro, showing up in the during that little training arc.
Yeah.
Completely went over my head.
Yes,
I don't remember it happening. I have no memory.
I assume most people also had the similar experience, even though they had a whole episode dedicated to him. They didn't really explain anything about him.
Yeah. So at this point, I was sort of thinking that okay, this is like a this is sort of explaining how Meruem comes about and how he ends up so evil. I thought that was the implication, is that Gyro was going to end up in Meruem or the king.
But no, Gyro was. We already saw him. He's gone from the rest of the arc. So goodbye. But the reason why it's important that Welfin brings up Gyro is because Ikalgo goes, I think I might have also been a follower of Gyro. Ikalgo goes, maybe I was. And then Welfin goes, maybe you were. And he's like, maybe I knew you. And that's where that goes.
Yep.
And so then Ikalgo goes to Welfin. He goes, okay, listen. Like, we were bros in a past life, maybe.
Maybe.
So tell me, do you know where this girl is, Palm, that I'm looking for? And he says, yeah, she's upstairs in a cocoon. We're turning her into a Chimera Ant. And Ikalgo goes, oh, shit.
She's gonna be in it. Do, do, do. She's gonna be in it. Do, do, do. She's gonna be in it.
And we need to get through Killua so we can talk about Palm. So we'll stop Ikalgo there.
Yeah, so pause mode on Ikalgo, yeah, skirmish with Bloster and Welfin.
And in both cases, he ended it peacefully. Well, as peacefully as he could with Bloster,
I mean, is putting someone to sleep peaceful?
that help a good rest. He didn't kill him afterwards, is the important part. So,
That is true.
in order to talk about what happens next with Killua, we got to talk about what happens next with Yuppie. In order to talk about what happens next with Yuppie, we got to talk about how it happens next with Knuckle and Yuppie. So,
Yeah, so
Knuckle and Yuppie, they're fighting. And by fighting, I really mean it's like Yuppie's just going crazy, and Knuckles trying not to die.
yes. He tries to get himself like a little opportunity to hit him every once in a while, but for the most part, Knuckle is just trying his hardest not to die. And during this point, Yuppie begins his development. So this is one of the things that I do like about this portion of the arc a lot, is that Yuppie going from a static character to like someone who has a lot of depth and is very interesting.
Yes.
That is something that feels very organic to me.
Yes, and that's the whole. To me, that's the whole point of Yuppie's character, was to show like this dumb brick of a Chimera Ant. He's like not really that smart. He's like the worst of the three. He's just this big brute. He starts out the arc by just being like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of all of you guys. He's not really like this character, but something starts happening to him in this fight with Knuckle, and he starts to develop emotions, as they are called.
Yeah, so the first thing that happens, Bid for Yuppie, is that he begins to realize that he has emotions, and he also begins to come to terms with what that means. So I think for Yuppie, as like the least human of the Royal Guards.
Yes, he's definitely the least human of them. He looks completely alien compared to the other two, who like have mostly human features. Yuppie's like this red, like he almost looks like an alien from like you'd see in like Dragon Ball Z or some shit. Like he has backwards legs and all this stuff, and he morphs around into different forms. Yuppie's completely alien compared to every other Chimera Ant.
Mm-hmm. And he has a very quiet internal life, as opposed to P2, who immediately has her little like I want to fight things fling. There's Shia LaBeouf, who is just completely and utterly. Yeah, he's just completely and utterly. That's where I'll end that sentence.
Completely and utterly, yeah.
And but Yuppie is like, I am sitting here, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
Whatever you wish, my lord.
And that's even like at the beginning of the arc when they come through the portal, like we were saying, Yuppie's sitting on the staircase, and he's actually, I forget what he's thinking about specifically, but he's thinking about like, I forget what he's thinking about. He's sitting on that staircase when they come in, and he's thinking about like, I think he's thinking about like, why am I so dumb? Like, I forget what he was thinking about.
I think he was thinking about how different he was from P2 and Poof.
Like he's like, he's thinking introspectively already, even though we haven't seen anything happen from him. And then of course he goes crazy right afterwards. So it's like, oh, okay. What was that moment? That was weird. but it's a hint at the later development for Yuppie, which will happen in this fight. And Yuppie, the first time he realizes he has emotions is because he can't hit Knuckle, and he's pissed off.
He's mad. He's big mad.
He's like, this guy won't just sit still and get hit. So he gets so angry. One time when Knuckle runs in for a little pot shot, he goes in to do a pot shot, and Yuppie just explodes into this mass of like glowing red mass, and he just like is like, I'm going to kill you, and Knuckles like, okay, and he he just explodes into this massive red mass and just demolishes the area, and Yuppie's like, what was that? Oh, what the heck was that?
What was that? What the was that?
Yeah, and so Knuckle, like, he gets out of there immediately, and Yuppie and Knuckles fight kind of disengages for a little bit. And Yuppie's just, like, sitting there, like, thinking about it. He's like, what? Like, I don't know what just happened. He's like, I don't understand at all. And so Yuppie realizes that he kind of had this rage blast, I think is what he calls it.
Something like that.
And he's like, I can use this to my advantage. You know, if I get angry enough, I can use this to my advantage to, like, lure him in, and when he's least expecting it, to obliterate him, essentially. I'm reading on the wiki. I'm using the wiki to kind of track where we are in the arc.
Me too. Okay, yeah. And so Knuckle gets kind of cocky and does try to sort of like take advantage of this like new angrier Yuppie. And in the process almost gets himself killed.
Yeah. So
before
Knuckle.
he is saved by Killua.
So yeah, Knuckle completely he assumes that Yuppie doesn't have control of this rage. Yuppie's going crazy, and Knuckles like, I'm going in for the hit. I'm gonna do more damage, and then Yuppie immediately calms down and looks at him and is like, "Gotcha, haha." And
yeah,
Knuckle, yeah,
which does bring into another thing I want to talk about is that the parallels between Knuckle and Shoot and Gon and Killua.
Mm-hmm.
And how one of the two is very good at fighting, and consistently comes out, if not on top, like, definitely clearly holds their own. And the other one really flippin' sucks.
It's true.
Absolutely drops the ball.
Yeah, and we get to see how true it is because Killua does, of course, save Knuckles' life, because if Killua wasn't there, Knuckles would have literally just died.
Yes.
So Killua comes in, saves Knuckles' life with a big lightning bolt and then blast. Yuppie's like, okay, come on, like, I was about to kill him. Like, it's a little rude. Knuckles like, Knuckle gets in a free punch. He says, ha, I got in a free punch. That was for you, Shoot. And Knuckle gets the hell out of there. And then Yuppie's like, okay, now I really am, like, extremely pissed off. Like, Yuppie's like,
and we do get to see Killua kind of clowning on Yuppie for a little while.
So we get to see how powerful Killua is. He activates Godspeed, which he hasn't done at this point in the series. And
no, he has.
Well, he did
for a small moment.
Yeah, but it's just the longest that he's had it. He activates Godspeed, and he basically goes, I'll attack Yuppie. I'll distract him. So he goes into the pit with Yuppie, this pit like that has been formed from Yuppie's rage or whatever. He goes into this pit and just starts throwing punches, and they aren't doing a lot of damage to Yuppie, but they're stalling him.
Mm-hmm.
And Yuppie can't.
Is it any damage that adds to APR, or is it only damage from Knuckle?
I don't remember, but Killua's essentially stalling him, buying time for APR, whether or not he directly is helping it. And he's doing he's doing all these hits. Yuppie can't react to them; they're way too fast. And it shows how powerful Killua has become over this short time, thanks to this kind of Chimera Ant problem. Mm-hmm. Killua has become this powerful in just this 2 months or whatever since this has started. But Killua's power has a disadvantage, and that's that he needs to have electricity coursing through him. Because
he can run out.
Yeah, so he runs out, And he leaves. He says, I'm done here. And Yuppie's like, I'm not letting you go, you son of a bitch. And wait, where'd you go? Because Killua was gone. Milorion was there sitting on the sidelines waiting for Killua to be done. Killua finishes, Milorion grabs him, and they disappear. And Yuppie is like,
now I'm even madder.
no, I'm even madder. But here's the thing. Yuppie realizes something in this moment. He thinks with his brain. He goes, wait a second.
Emotion number 2.
He goes, wait a second. Somebody's using some kind of invisibility or teleportation here. One of these motherfuckers is doing some sus shit. He's venting like the imposter. Like something's happening here. He knows someone's doing some stuff. So he knows that there is either an invisibility guy or a teleportation guy roaming around. Yuppie's figured this out just because of, previous situations where he got punched in the side by Knuckle and all that kind of stuff. And like how people keep disappearing randomly. Mm-hmm. Yuppie's figured it out. He's like, I know there's something going on here. And so
I've connected the dots.
Yeah, and so Yuppie is angry, but he at least is like, I've understood one part of the puzzle. So then
making progress.
Then Yuppie finds Morel. And Yuppie's mad. He's an angry man. And Morel.
So now we have that sort of Morel plus the last of the smoke clones.
Yeah, so Morel, and he has all these smoke clones of him and Knuckle. And while he has 8 of him, and then he swaps them over to Knuckle because Knuckle wants to get another hit in so that they can get more damage on APR.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that. Knuckle gets another hit in, another solid hit in, and then he backs off again. And Yuppie is like, now I'm even angry. And
what a surprise.
But this time, instead of just going crazy and exploding in like this ball of red fire, he turns into a centaur.
Yeah, he has a literal metamorphosis to
but,
go along with his internal one.
Yeah, so he's able to control this rage in such a way that he has this transformation that essentially becomes permanent and makes him that much more powerful, as opposed to the rage incarnate or whatever it was called, the rage explosion. That was just him having this big burst of power for a moment and then, it going back down. Now he's taken this power, he's put it into himself, and is now permanently stronger because he's like kind of internalized this rage, I guess.
Yeah, he's no longer just feeling these emotions, he is using them and accepting them.
So Yuppie has become this more powerful because he's realized the power of emotions. So Yuppie turns into a centaur man. And then what Yuppie does next, he doesn't immediately kill them or like hate on them or whatever. I finally got my shiny quillfish. Sorry about that. But so what Yuppie does is he immediately compliments Morel and Knuckle. He goes, you guys are incredibly strong, powerful warriors, and I thank you for allowing me to unlock this, and now I will kill you.
Now, death. Oh, one thing that I did want to mention during the Killable, I think it's during the Killable one where he starts to realize that he's enjoying it, the fight.
Yeah, I think Yuppie does say that.
Yeah, I think it's during or after that Killable part where he like realizes that aspect of it.
Where he's like, I'm actually enjoying a fight.
Not that he's had any fights up to now.
But yes, so he praises them, but he says, I'm going to kill you now. And he says, I have to kill you because I respect you. Like, he's like, I'm not killing you because I'm a mindless person or anything like that. I'm killing you because I have respect for you, and
And I
because I
think he
have this
even
much
does
respect for you.
apologize for the disrespect he showed to Shoot, right?
I think he
I think
does.
he
Yeah.
does.
He says I've realized, through this, you guys have helped me realize some things. This is like a free therapy session for me, basically. Thanks a lot. I'm gonna have to kill you now. You've been very helpful. I have to kill you now, unfortunately. Just there's no way around it. So, Yuppie goes for Moral first because Moral's been weakened. He doesn't have his pipe. He can't create more clones. Moral's more or less out of the fight. So Yuppie's like, I'm going to take you out first. He goes for him. And right as he goes to slash at Moral, he disappears. But Yuppie, there's blood on Yuppie's blade. He notices. Right as he disappeared, he slashed in that area and there's blood on the blade. So, what that means is it's not teleportation. It's invisibility. Because he still hit him despite him disappearing. So he knows there's an invisible guy roaming around the area. He's intuited this from his battles. Which is like the fact that, and this isn't like specific to Hunter x Hunter, but the fact that in the middle of this life or death battle that he's been having with all these people, of course Yuppie's not going to die from like the random humans. His only threat is really APR, but essentially through this battle, while he's trying to been focusing on this battle and his internal monologue, at the same time he's still able to intuit this, like, this person has this power that's been screwing with me this whole time.
Like everyone in this arc, except for Knuckle because he's stupid, and because he's also stupid.
Yeah.
Everyone involved is thinking and intuiting about what's happening around them.
Yeah.
Everyone in the arc is very aware, except for Den, Knuckle, and Dome. They're stupid, and I love them. And that is one thing that I think does carry it to a point, even through like all the, I just over narration I'd call it, is that yes, they are explaining everything, but you do at least get the fact that it's not like they're explaining to make things happen. Like, the characters themselves are still very active. They're still making decisions.
Yes. It's
even as the narrator does kind of work to undermine that by over explaining it rather than letting sort of like their actions speak for themselves a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. And I agree, at some points that happens. It's the unfortunate thing of converting a manga into a book into a movie or a manga into an anime.
Yeah.
Is you don't get the internal monologues of the characters as well as they are in the thing. You can still have them like speak in their head, like talk to themselves. But it's not.
It reads differently.
It reads differently. So to stipend that, and the fact that Chimera Ant has a lot of internal monologue and a lot of the characters thinking to themselves and all that, they had to include the narrator for some of the parts. I don't think the narrator was needed for all the parts that he was included. I do think it was good for have him in some of the parts, specifically the Netero Meruem stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of the arc, I think he is a little bit overbearing.
Yeah. I think in we'll get to that later, but there's one part of the Netero Meruem fight that just made me really upset. But we'll get to
I can assume what part, but yeah. So Yuppie realizes he stabbed him. He notices the blood drip on the ground, and he says, "That's where this invisible motherfucker is. I'm gonna go kill him." And Knuckles says, "Stop, fight me, alone, 1-on-1, mano a mano." And Yuppie goes, "No." And Knuckle goes, "What if I were to release my Nen power on you that's going to, like, the APR, which is essentially going to make it so you can't use Nen anymore?" And Yuppie goes, "Okay, yeah, I'll agree to that." And, I think Yuppie actually says it to him, like, release this power and I will fight you. Like, that's the deal, release this power and I'll fight you. And Knuckle, you could say Knuckle falls for it. You could say, like, oh, Knuckle fell for it. He's going to make him release the power and then he's going to kill all of them. But Yuppie keeps his word.
Yeah.
Yuppie doesn't go back on it. He doesn't trick them. He says, okay, you've released his power. Now, I'll agree to keep my word.
Yeah, the fact that everyone in this everyone in this arc is so human and that Knuckle is rewarded for that is, a big part of what the arc is about.
Mm-hmm. And at the end, UP ends up not fighting Knuckle. He says, "I'm not going to fight you because we know who's going to win. I'm going to go
We'll fight again another day."
Yeah, he's like, I respect you. I know who you are. I'm not going to fight you right now. I'm going to go find the king because that's what's important to me. So he goes off and he meets with Poof, and they're like, we need to go find the king. So they go to find the king. So him and Poof are going off to where Netero and the king are. We haven't even talked about them yet. Holy shit. We have one more detour before we get to them. And that's Palm. So let's talk about Palm real quick. We don't really need to speak about her much. But Palm comes out of the Chimera Ant cocoon. And at this point, what's his name? Paggigalo has told Killua about it, and him and Killua are going to get to Palm. Palm comes out of the cocoon, and she is part Chimera Ant now. And she's evil.
Yes.
And she attacks Killua with killing intent, according to the Wikipedia right here.
Mm-hmm.
And
she is she's gone, a bit cuckoo.
Yeah, she's gone crazy.
Yeah, so one thing here
she's gone crazy.
Yeah, so one thing worth noting is that at this point she is salient. So even though she is being controlled, she is still like aware and herself to a certain extent. Like she's talking at this point, right?
Yeah. She's talking to Killua.
Yeah.
But Killua doesn't fight her back with the intent to kill her. And Killua kind of spills his guts, and he's like, "Oh."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Killua has an emotional moment with someone other than Gon.
Yeah. So he spills his guts to Palm, and this allows Palm to awaken from her stupor, and it's revealed that Shia LaPouf was controlling her. So she wipes out the little Shia LaPouf drone thing that was controlling her. And then at the end of this it says so Paggigalo asks Killua whether they should help Gon go and fight Pitou. So they've rescued Palm. They don't know what's happening with the other guys, but they know Gon is by himself with Pitou. So Paggigalo goes, "Hey, should we go help?" And Killua says, "Yeah, but we wouldn't be able to do anything."
Gon is crazy.
And they end up regrouping with Malorion and Knuckle. And Knuckle is like, "Of course we're going to help Gon. I don't care if he's crazy." So they have this big moment where it's like the five of them like standing there, and they're like, "Are we going to give up or are we going to keep going?" And they're like, "Of course we're going to keep going." So like it's this big moment. And I like that moment. I feel like that's not one that people talk about a lot.
Yeah, it's one where they sort of all decide that they came here to face death and they're gonna do it.
Yeah. They're like, we can leave now if we really wanted to, but we can keep going. And they're like, we're gonna keep going. So it's a fun scene. Okay.
I'm going to take a quick bathroom break.
Okay, that's a wise choice. When we come back from the break, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting to tonight's main event, Meruem versus Netero. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I did the same thing that I did last time where we streamed, where I stopped playing the game like halfway through. Because I just wanted to talk about... I feel like it focuses me more, you know what I mean? But I digress. I'll be back too. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick as well. Just to make sure. And yeah. So that's I will be back. Is that an Azelf? I didn't see an Azelf. I'll be back. I'll be back. Sorry for yet again not reading chat. This is kind of like it's not that I hate chat. It's that I really hate chat. No, it's that when I'm on a stream with a friend, which is all I stream these days, I just don't look at chat because I like talking with my friend instead. And I like talking to my friend. I like talking about the game. It's not that I hate chat. It's just I'm focused on doing certain things, which is why I stopped playing the game halfway through because I was talking to my friend about a thing I like. But anyways, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And I forgot that doesn't mute me on OBS, so.
Alrighty, back. Alrighty, back. Hello? Did the Paggigalo also take a bathroom break? Paggigalo, Paggigalo. Oh, he's beer. Okay, thank you, Noah. Katie Pup is following me. I didn't realize she wasn't already following.
Yo,
Thank you
Pog.
very much for the follow. I haven't talked to you in ages, but I'm glad to know that you are alive.
She's over on my stream, and I was like, I'm sorry for not looking at chat. I'm talking with my friend. Well.
So we are back from our respective bathroom breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I have assured my wife that we will be done by 4 under penalty of death.
Well, we have 2. Okay, let me think. We have Merowyn versus Netero. We have, which is going to take a little bit. We have P2 and Gone. It'll take a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we have
I guess the Fallout sequence.
we have Merowyn returning.
Yeah.
And and that's like the last big part, and then the conclusion, I think.
Yeah. So
4 more talking points, more or less, that we have to get done in around 50 minutes. So we can do it.
Yeah. So
But these are the this is what you come here for. This is
we got 50 minutes of just straight analysis and
yes, anal cysts just for 50 minutes straight. So we're glad you could join us here. And listen, here's the thing. This is the best part of the arc. We're getting here. This is like, yeah, I know I keep saying it. Listen, I know I said it before the Palace invasion. No, it's the best part of the arc. That kind of thing as well. It's because the Palace invasion is the best part of the arc. But this is the end of the Palace invasion, where everything that is in the Palace invasion also starts to pay off. The Palace invasion has just been one whole like half of an arc of payoff. This is the payoff to the payoff. So this is the best part. This is where it gets good. So, Meruem and Netero. Let's begin, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess we can break it into a couple parts. So there is the backstory to. So I guess there is the backstory to Netero that happens here.
Yeah.
Or that happened maybe a little earlier, where we find out that.
Yeah, we can just go through it quick. I mean, we don't need to.
Yeah.
Dwell on it too long.
Yeah, so when Netero was a young man, or starting to be old man, he had so much respect for martial arts that he trained the same move 20 times a day, 100 times a day, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was like 100 times a day or something.
Yeah, and so he did this one move so often that he just ended up being just the best.
Basically,
through his dedication.
Yeah, he practiced punching and praying right afterwards, and I think it was 100. It might be more than 100. It might be like 1,000 times or something. But the way it was describing it is that the first couple times he'd do it, or the first couple months that he was doing it, it would literally take him all day to do it. He'd sit in one spot and do it all day. By the end of the time he was doing it, he would complete it in like less than 30 minutes. So
yeah.
So basically, he just got so fast and rapid with it that he went crazy and essentially did this one thing for a certain amount of time until he became literally the best at it.
Basically the One Punch Man origin story, but played completely straight.
And also, I think for a longer time, I don't know, I'm not sure. And also, not impossible to beat. But we get to we see a little bit more of his backstory. He's a cocky bastard, Netero, and he goes back to his training dojo and takes it over. He's a bit of a cocky bastard, and all Netero seems to want in life is a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wants. So, with that backstory out of the way, back into the current times, and we get Netero and Meruem. They're flying on Xeno's dragon, and they drop into this weapons testing area, I think is what it is.
Yeah. So, like, a place where they can have their fight and not literally kill everyone within a 1,000-foot radius.
Yeah. So, and initially, Netero is like, okay, let's get this started. I want to deal with this, get it over with. And by that, he really means I want a good fight. But, it's just because we learned his backstory. And the king is like, no, I don't think I will. So Netero's like, excuse me, you're going to fight, mister. And the king's like,
can't we just talk it
out? Yeah, can we just talk as like, man to man? And this kind of weirds out Netero a little bit. He's like, this is weird. Yeah, this is not what I signed up for.
Like the same thing that Zeno said.
More or less, except he takes it a little bit differently. Because Netero, first off, wants a good fight. He came here expecting a good fight. So, he ain't going to walk away without a good fight. And also, what Netero says specifically, I think, is...
have to get this over with before I let my heart be swayed.
Yes, he says, I have to get this over with before I let my heart be swayed, because if Netero's starting to realize that he agrees with the things that the king says. So what the king is starting to say is, he starts saying stuff like, I'm gonna create a world where inequality doesn't exist, where not all humans are going to be used as livestock, only as like some of them, like half of them, I think, or something like that. And then he's like, I'm going to do all this stuff, and like the strong will still be able to do their jobs. Like if you're good at a job, you can still go out and do it, and you won't be used as livestock, essentially. And Netero, this is a world where Netero likes. Like this isn't a world that Netero dislikes. This is a world that Netero could get down with.
Yeah, I think this is actually a very interesting sort of comparison between the two of them because like I think it's safe to say that like Meruem is like, Ron.
Yeah,
Like obviously he has good points. But
it's
like
yeah,
he is Ron. He is, definitely like even if it's like he thinks he'll ultimately help people, he is still, basically going to be this terrifying monster of a dictator, right? And the fact that Netero agrees with him
yes.
is
This whole arc is about what it's coming to fruition in this fight right here. This fight and the next fight as well. But it's coming to fruition in the themes of this arc, which is humans are monsters. And these ants that are these monsters that they've come to kill, who are based off of humans, aren't as much as monsters as we think they are because they're just us.
yeah.
They're just us, and we are the real monsters. And this is when you realize Meruem saying these things, like, these things are insane things. Like, I'm only gonna kill half of the population, and like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. And
The
Netero's,
strong will be fine.
yeah, the strong will be fine. And so Netero's like, Netero's fine with this. He's like, yeah, okay. In Netero's mind, this world is perfectly fine, and that's why he says, I have to do this quickly, because if I don't fight him right now and like we both die and I kill him or whatever,
I'll be convinced.
I'm gonna be on his side. Like, I'm not gonna want to kill him anymore.
I'm like already 30% on board here.
Yeah, like he's like, I have to fight him. So Netero is like, okay, listen, if you don't want to fight me, I understand. But here's the thing. Meruem at this point in the story doesn't know his name. He was never told his name because he left his mother's side before he knew his name, because if you remember back when he was born, he was a dickhead. So he left his mother's side and he killed her in the process when he came out of the womb. And on her dying bed, she was being saved by humans. They were kind of like holding her there, trying to save her. She dies, but in her dying moment, she says, his name is Meruem. That's his name. So the only people that know it are the people that were present. So the hunters that were there, basically, and Kite. So those are the only people that know Meruem's actual name. So Meruem doesn't know his own name. Why does this matter to Meruem, you might be saying? Because earlier in the story, we kind of glossed over it. I think we talked about it last time, actually. Komogi asks Meruem, what is your name? And Meruem doesn't have an answer.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know.
He comes up with an answer afterwards where he says, my name is King.
Yeah. But he doesn't.
Removes the.
Yeah, he doesn't have a real answer. And so it kind of bugs him. He's like, I want to know what my name is. And so Netero here is saying, I know your name. If you want to know your name too, fight me. So that's his draw for Meruem. He says, you have to fight me if you want to know your name. So Meruem is like, let's go. I'm on board now. And Netero is like, okay, well, joke's on you. You thought we were fighting in this weapon testing ground. Actually, we're fighting under the weapon testing ground. And they fight in a giant tomb underground.
And this is, I think, one of the best fights in the series.
Yeah, it's one of the best fights in anime in general, I think.
It is very good. It is dynamic, and it is interesting, and it is also built up to.
Yeah.
Like, there's this sort of, like, there's a lot of different layers to, like, the visual storytelling going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is, like, despite the fact that the strongest human, as far as we know, is, Netero, Isaac. It's a David and Goliath story where Netero is the David and Meruem is the Goliath, but visually, because of the way his power works, Netero is the Goliath, like visually, and Meruem has to overcome him. And that's also how the fight sort of goes, because Meruem cannot land a blow, while Netero can land as many blows as he wants at this point.
Yeah. So basically, Netero has this 100 Buddhist whatever it's called. Guanyin Bodhisattva, I think is actually the name. Try not to be offensive here. But And it just has 100 different arms, and it can do a bunch of different attacks, and it always hits Meruem, and Meruem cannot get in to hit Netero. But Meruem has been playing games with Komugi, and this plays into the story. How, you might ask? Well, because he's been playing games, he has this strategic mindset related to these games, where whenever somebody plays a game, they have this inherent bias, no matter how small, to go certain moves. So, over thousands and thousands of attacks that are just going by in a fraction of a second, where Meruem is just charging at Netero and getting smacked away. Thousands and thousands of attacks. He's examining his moves through each and every single one and looking for that unconscious bias that Netero has throughout the whole fight. And it's just like this huge, interesting dynamic that builds throughout the whole episode, that you're like, is he going to, like, is Netero even doing damage? Like, is Netero going to, like, even be able to do damage to him before, like, he can examine his bias and, like, break through him? Like, what's going to happen? And then, the episode starts going, the king started feeling pain in his body, at this point. Like, weak pain spots started appearing. Like, after thousands and thousands of hits, he was starting to experience this pain in his body. Because he's just throwing his body on the line because he feels invincible. And so he's just examining this strategy over and over again until he can finally break through. And eventually he finally does.
Yeah, well, he does once. Takes out his lead. Merum's like, okay, I got your lead. All right, can we be done now? I really don't want to kill you. And Isaac's like, nah. And then he just muscles his lead shut.
I think it's like a Nen thing. I think he used Nen. I believe. I don't know, but it's a cool shot. Netero's like, oh, you think I can't use my? You think I'm out just because my leg's off? And he just fucking shuts it. And then Meruem goes, okay, well, next is your arm. And Netero goes, okay, you can try. And then the narrator goes, the next part of the fight only lasted a minute. Which I think is funny. It's almost funny the way that it's like said by the narrator.
Yeah.
It's like the next part of this fight lasted a minute. And then it just shows the scene where Netero takes off his arm, or Meruem takes off Netero's arm.
Because it's like, at this point, Meruem has his number.
Yeah, Meruem has figured him out. So we know Netero's done. So Meruem goes in, he takes out his arm, and he goes, okay, now I won, because now you can't even do the prayer thing for your power, because, Netero has to punch and then pray every time. So he punches, brings his hands together. Netero goes, are you stupid? I don't have to do that to use my power.
Which is also a funny part.
Yeah, like, you think I need both hands to pray? A prayer comes from the heart, brother. And then he just uses his power again, but this time it's a little bit different.
Yeah. And so this is the part where the anime does like full Sakura moment. They, are you're good. So, they are, flying through the sky. There's the whole, they're battling. There's all this stuff. It's beautiful. It is, it's not necessarily meant to be taken literally. It is an artistic representation of what is happening.
Yep.
And then the narrator comes in just like, oh, well, you see there. And that part is just like, shut up.
You're talking about the needle in the haystack, yeah. The thing in the needle.
It's like...
Yeah, I understand that. I disagree a little bit. And here's the reason why. Because it does stop in the middle of the fight, but it's like, it's posing this question that, like, this beautiful fight is happening in front of you, like, and you're like, it's this artistic representation. If they had just done that for another 2 minutes, it could have been interesting. Like, it could have done something cool. Instead, they decide to take the time to stop, and it is jarring. It is jarring, but the narrator explains, here's what Meruem's doing, here's why he is doing it, and here's why this is such an impossible task that only someone like Meruem can do. And I think it's explained in a beautiful way with a lot of metaphors and examples and a lot of cool, like, artwork going by on the screen. with like the gungi boards flying by and like the 3D, looking through the needle holes and all that stuff. And I understand not liking it, but I disagree personally.
Okay, I do see where you come from. It's not even necessarily like what he says is like wrong or like distracting. It's just that like if there was one moment where I think that like the animation is really speaking for itself,
It is the
I
fight,
kind of
yeah.
think that was it.
Yeah.
Not even like the whole fight, just like that one part, like where they're going through space,
Yeah.
or like the climax, like this is what happened. Like that part right there is like the one part where I think like it really is speaking for itself. And I think the narrator really didn't need to interject there.
Well, here's my question to you. Do you think it would have been better if Meruem was internally speaking there?
I do, actually. If
Okay.
Meruem was internally speaking there, I think it would have been better.
Okay. I don't disagree. I think it probably would have been better if Meruem was internally speaking there instead of the narrator coming up to speak. But at the end of the day, to me, I think it's also... to me, it's not... I didn't dislike the part personally. I do think it's jarring. And I think on like repeated viewings, it's like, okay, I understand. Like I already know what the narrator's going to say, so I don't really need to watch this part. But
yeah.
I think
more time to focus on just chewing on it as opposed to...
Like I already know what you're saying, narrator. Shut the hell up. But I think it is a good part. I do enjoy it for its little explanation. I do understand though, yeah, and I do agree with you. It is very jarring. But anyway.
Yeah. Also worth noting, I fully admit that that type of part, like that type of moment, lands very differently on the page.
Yeah.
Because the narration or like the text is sort of like a footnote or like
yes,
like a title card, and you have as much time as you need to sort of absorb the beautiful art, as opposed to sort of like the narration and the thing taking the same billing.
Yeah, and I think that the stuff that the narrator does in the next episode, the beginning of the next episode, is fantastic. So it makes up for it a bit. But we'll get to that in a second.
You say fantastic.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I'm talking about the beginning of the next episode. At the end after Netero's done his thing, and then it comes in.
I was skipping an episode of the part that my brain was skipping to the part, the horny part.
That has nothing to do with the. You cannot put that one on the narrator. Is all I can say.
Not putting that one on the narrator.
So anyway.
Hey Savage Howie, welcome to the chat.
So anyway, we were at Netero using his zero hand. So Netero uses his zero hand instead of his normal attacks. It's different. Instead of hitting him, Netero's super fast. It looks really slow the way they do it. They animated it. Like it looks like he's slowly scooping up Meruem, but it's actually like instant, I guess. Where he instantly scoops up Meruem in his hands and then unleashes this massive laser beam, full with a middle finger given to the camera.
Yeah.
Where he just blasts Meruem away, and I mean the reason why that middle finger is there is because it's actually like it's like a Buddhist like tan thing. I don't know how to explain it really, but it has significance. It's not just him giving the middle finger, but it's also there because it's the middle finger.
Yeah.
It's there for that moment of him essentially giving Meruem the middle finger. So, and it's one of the only, I think, anime instances of a middle finger that's able to stay in because they usually censor that.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's technically like a symbol in Buddhism or something, got him.
Like, we'll keep it.
Got him. So Netero has done this attack and used all his nen. He did the zero hand. Predictably, as in any anime, the big bad, they have to fight the hero of the story. The king has to fight Gon, so of course the king can't be dead. So the king's not dead. So the king comes out and he's like, "You did an admirable job." And you see there's like scratches in the king's body. This is the most hurt the king has looked before, but it's like nothing compared to like the damage looks negligible.
Yeah, especially compared to Netero, who is like
missing an arm and a
Barely
leg.
a shell.
Yeah, and he's now a shell of his former self because he used all of his nen, which, as we know, nen kind of propels the body to live a little bit longer and stronger. So he used all of his nen in that power, and now he looks like a old man. He's leaking back out of his leg, blood out of his leg and arm again. So Netero's defeated. Meruem is like, I got you, old man. He's like, so tell me my name. And well, before that, Meruem says, listen, I'm gonna reason with you, okay? You were so strong, and you moved me so much, like the way you fought me, that I'm gonna reduce. There's only gonna be 30% of humans are gonna be livestock now, and and in a special zone that you guys can live and all that stuff. And Netero's like, Meruem's like, okay, so finally, tell me your name. Tell me my name. Meruem says, tell me my name. Netero goes, Meruem, your name is Meruem. But Meruem is not happy about hearing his name, because the way Netero says it is not, it's not like a man surrendering. He says, Meruem, your name is Meruem, and then he goes on to say, and I wish I had the quote on hand so I could just say it, but
It's, what is it? It's you underestimate.
It's something along the lines of,
It's never underestimate the darkness in the human heart. It's something like that. Don't underestimate the human race, Meruem. You underestimate nothing of humanity's infinite potential for darkness and evolution. And then he fucking blows up. Yes.
So he essentially...
So it turns out, whoops, he actually had a bomb planted in his own heart this whole time.
Not just a bomb. It is the anime's version of a nuke.
Yeah.
Literally a nuke implanted in his heart.
It is like, F you and F everyone who is going to live here for 100 years from now.
And this puts everything from this arc into perspective. This one thing puts all this stuff in this arc into perspective suddenly. This one move that Netero has done. Because think about it this way. Netero could have just come in at any time, flown himself in with Xeno, and just blown up and killed everyone. Netero could have, once he separated the king, blown up and just killed the king. Netero at any moment could have done things differently. Instead, Netero selfishly wanted a fight. He wanted a last fight before he went. He said, I'm probably going to die. I don't think I'm going to live this. Here's the thing. Even if I do live this, it's going to use a lot of my power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this failsafe, this nuclear bomb inside of my heart, and I am going to literally... It's essentially, the nuclear bomb is, we cannot fail this extermination mission. We know we cannot fail this. We don't know if we're powerful enough, so we're going to bring a nuclear bomb. But instead of setting it off early, ending the thing from the beginning, Netero indulges himself. And that's this. It puts this whole arc into perspective.
Yeah.
None of this
would
would
happen.
happen.
Himself from the very start, because there wasn't just the he could have detonated it when they got to the palace. He could have detonated it after they got away. He could have detonated it when they first got to the NGL.
It didn't even have to be in his heart. He could have just thrown it at them. Like it's literally just he had a trump card inside of him because he was selfish. And that's kind of this whole... It puts in perspective this whole point of this arc, which is humans are fucking monsters. And
humans suck.
Humans suck. Netero, this person we're supposed to see as a hero, he's the leader of the Hunter Association, is just a selfish asshole. Mm-hmm. And because of him, so many people have suffered. He literally could have ended this at any moment. But he wanted a good fight, and so because of that, it went on to this huge arc that has all these character interactions, all this stuff, it's an amazing arc. But you also realize it didn't even have to happen. None of this had to happen.
And so I actually, a big thing that I talked about in the first one is the sort of layers of inevitability in this arc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the different ways that if the people had behaved differently, things could have been avoided. Like, you know, the fact that the NGL was the way it was, and that's where the ants landed.
Yeah.
The fact that hunters who were kind of unprepared went in caused it to end up the way it did with what's his name, Paru, Papu,
Paku,
bow
yeah.
guy.
Poku,
Yeah, Pockle, yeah, like him getting absorbed and him teaching them all about Nen.
Yeah.
Gon and Killua hitting the bunny rat voiced by Lupin the Third.
Mm-hmm.
Awakening his Nen. You know, like there's just layers of inevitability. Everything is leading to this. That, you know, one or two things could have been avoided, but everything's leading to this. I didn't really take into account the fact that Netero's character was also a part of that. The fact that he could have ended it sooner before any of the East Dorto stuff happened.
Yeah, no, he literally. The only thing that would have happened in this arc would be Kite would have died, and then the arc would have ended. That would have been the arc. It would have been Kite's death, and then they would have been like, "Oh shit!" Netero would have came in and blew the thing up. If it was Netero being selfless, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the fact that Netero could have done that himself. But because he wanted to have the king first, he had to sort of...
he wanted all these other people there so they could distract everyone else so he could have this fight for himself.
Yeah. So that, you know, that's why Moral and Nove had to be included.
Mm-hmm.
That's why either Knuckle and Shoot or Gon and Killua had to be included. That's why it was a suicide mission.
Right.
It wasn't just they might not be able to win. It was the fact that...
No. It was they knew they were going to win. That's not they. Just Netero knew that there was not going to be an issue. That's the point. Netero knew that there was never going to be an issue here, that they were going to kill the ants. He dragged everyone else along. They thought this was going to be a suicide mission because he had said to them, this is a suicide mission, because he knew he's going to die and blow everything up. He figured that he's going to have a fight with the king in the middle of where everyone else is fighting and just fucking blow up and kill everyone. That's what he thought was going to happen. So it's not... Netero, I love Netero as a character. He's so interesting. He has so many different layers. He is an asshole. Like,
he is so interesting. He is so awful. And it really... It is very well done. Just 100%.
It's so well done. He's such a realistic character, it feels like, too. He's not, like, written like this purely good or evil character.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a realistically written character. Which is like, it just feels like a real human being. They're being selfish because this is what they want.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Selfish, he is...
I told you we were going to talk about this.
He's also like... Yeah.
For too long.
He's also at the same time being like the fact that he's been like sort of like a good mentor figure to everyone around him, you know, like even with what he's doing right now, that still hasn't really changed.
Yeah, no, he's still seen as this mentor figure, and it's like when you realize his backstory and like what he's been doing this arc, and like you kind of put in perspective everything else, it's like maybe we shouldn't see him as a mentor figure.
Yeah, the whole time all he's really wanted was, you know, someone to surpass, well, not even someone to surpass him, someone who he could seriously fight against. Yes.
It's literally it. He just selfishly wanted that. And that's the comparison to One Punch Man, I guess. The difference is...
So all the talking, all the him training people.
Yeah.
But there is also the fact that like he does make efforts to not bring people into it at a certain point.
Yes.
Because after all, if there's anyone who could have gotten away from the bomb unscathed, it would have been Nove and Moral in conjunction with each other, right?
Right. And I don't doubt that Netero might have told them as well, is the thing. Like, oh yeah, I have a bomb in my heart, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think he told them.
I don't think he did, but I don't doubt that if the situation were different, he might have told them and said like, okay, you can leave now. Like, I don't doubt that could have happened.
Yeah. And he does take steps, in the lead up to the palace part. He takes steps to, like, he calls in, what's his face? What is his name? He calls in. What's his name? I've forgotten it already. Kilo's grandpa.
Xeno.
Yeah, Zeno. So he calls him in specifically so that way they can get away from the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, all of his students, so to speak, could get out of it alive.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But at least it wouldn't be him that's killing him.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he does take these steps to help other people, but at the same time, you think part of that is because he maybe at this point realized that they wouldn't be able to hold off the royal guards as well as you'd hoped.
Yeah. Well, listen. Enough about the speculation. We need to zip it up a little bit. We need to finish up with this. We've talked about it a little bit enough, I think.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I have to say, the only thing I have to say before we leave is the next part is my favorite narrator part. It's the beginning of the next episode. It just explains. It's just like showing different events throughout history, and it's like war, famine, all this stuff, and it's like there's a big negativity to this arc, which is that humans are awful people, and it's displayed here perfectly, which is in contrast to kind of the rest of the series, which is like happy-go-lucky. And you'll see at the end it has a happy message, which is kind of in contrast, and that's because this arc specifically wanted to talk about this one part, and it's that humans we've done this to ourselves. We're awful people, and it's because we all hate each other.
And I also think it's worth noting that the bomb was a dirty bomb, and it was not a expensive bomb.
No. They describe it the way he describes it in the next episode. It's cheap, it's famous, and it's popular among small dictators. There's many that have gone missing throughout the world that we don't know where they are. So it's like
it's not even hard to make.
Yeah, it's almost like he's talking about the atomic bomb or something.
Yeah, and it's I think specifically one way that it sort of ties in is the fact that, again, tying into inevitability, in theory, there's no way that Meruem's plan could have worked because he could have been nuked at any point.
Yes, that's the whole point. Is Meruem could have never would have never lived the second he went up against humanity. That's the whole point. Is the second he went up against humanity? We have nukes. Sorry, you lose. And that's
it is
this point of it.
Tragic.
So
disappointing.
So yeah, so Netero nukes Meruem. Meruem's fucking dead. Or so we think.
Yeah.
So the next episode happens, and it's Shia LaBeouf and UP have weird gay, like I don't want to say gay like offensively, like it's actually like seems like homoerotic.
Like feed themselves to the king. Enjoy it way too much.
Yeah, but one of my complaints about it seems a little weird.
That sequence, to be honest, I could do without it.
But the king is barely alive after the nuke. They basically feed their essence to him, and he comes back alive. But with one big issue. He doesn't remember what happened in between the time he was like born and now, essentially.
Yeah.
So he basically forgot everything.
Very hard.
So
he lived the nuke at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, he literally, Poof and UP are now out of the game. They're done, essentially.
Yeah, they're just mini versions. All they can do is be with the king and support him.
They gave their lives to essentially revive the king. So anyway, moving on. Okay.
Yeah, so we got 15 minutes left. I don't think there's any way we can get through the Gon and P2 stuff in time. But are you free next Thursday as well? Because I do actually have next Thursday.
I am free next Thursday. Hey, homework. You should watch the rest of the episodes.
Yes. I'll see what I can do. We'll give it a good old college try. But so we won't be able to touch on the Gon and P2 stuff
today. Yeah, we'll talk about it next time. And there's a lot of things I have left that I want to talk about too. It's not just Gon and P2. It's the king coming back. The whole Welfin part is like one of my favorite parts. When like Palm basically saying you need to go to Gon right now to Killua, and Killua going over the conclusion of the arc where Bloster and all that.
Yeah.
So like,
there's a setup stuff for Gyro.
I mean, we've already talked enough about it. There's that little moment.
I'm done with Gyro.
Listen, even the manga, we don't know what's happening with him. So.
And we will one day.
But if you do read, if you do watch, I don't know how many episodes you have left to watch, but if you do watch the rest of it within a week, I mean, hey, I think I'll say this much: you will enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is a nice arc.
I'm really enjoying having Hisoka back.
Yeah.
As much as I hate him, Mr. Mime.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Pokemon Journeys anime for giving Mr. Mime a Hisoka face for that one part.
But the 12 Zodiacs are cool characters as well in that arc.
Yes.
That's when they get first introduced, so. and you finally get to meet a character that has been the point of the whole series.
And I have been spoiled already on the best part of the show, but I'm very excited to see it happen.
Yeah, that final arc's pretty good. But it has a good ending, and the author himself has said where the anime ends, that part of the story can be seen as an ending. You don't have to read after that if you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically his way of saying, I don't think I'm going to finish. Because, let me put it this way, as a manga reader, I don't know if he's going to finish either.
Yeah.
I've explained it before, but right now we're in... So we've been hyping up the next arc, which is explained at the end of the anime, which is supposed to be like the next big arc. Been hyping up that next big arc. Before we got to that next arc, we did a little mini arc. After that mini arc, on the ship that we're going to go to the next arc. Okay, you're understanding me? Mm-hmm. On the ship that we're going to go to the next arc, another massive arc has started. So we're being led to this huge arc that we're like seeing as important, and in the middle of us traveling to the next arc, a huge arc has started in the middle. And by the way, neither of these arcs have to do with Gyro. So that arc still needs to happen as well.
God,
so
Hunter hates us.
At minimum, if he is to complete the series, there are 3 big arcs left. The one that's happening right now, the one that we're going to right now, and the Gyro arc. There might be more. There's also another mini arc that I forgot about, which is if you do not continue Hunter x Hunter F the anime, highly recommend you read the little mini arc that happens right afterwards. Because I could listen. It's not a spoiler because it has nothing to do with the arc that you're about to watch. Do you want me to just explain it to you?
Yeah, go on ahead.
It's Chrollo versus Hisoka. So it happens right after the anime ends. It's a short little mini arc where they fight each other, and it is awesome. So I highly recommend you read that.
Very excited to see it.
But yeah, it has nothing to do with I mean, I guess I spoiled that Hisoka survives the current arc that you're watching. So congrats.
I mean, I've also seen the clip where Illumi is ready to kill him, so I guess that is a spoiler.
Oh no. He is. Let me put it this way: Hisoka is never in any danger in that arc. Yeah,
understandable.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that Hisoka was so absent for the Chimera Ant arc because he is you'd think he'd be slobbering all over the idea of just like an entire species of things that can fight.
Well, it's because first off, this was an information that was being spread out to the masses.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Second off, he was looking for the
Frollo still.
he was looking for the because he found the Nen Exorcist for Crollo in Greed Island.
Yes.
And then I don't know what he's doing actually during Chimera Ant. I don't know.
Just being a problem to someone else.
Yeah.
I'm just bothering Illumi.
I mean, he's in the chairman arc, so.
Yeah. Anyway, I do think it should. I think I'm gonna go ahead and talk it now. I don't think there's anything we can really get into besides maybe the horny portion.
You really want to talk about the horny portion? You really have some in-depth thoughts about it?
Deep thoughts, deep throbbing thoughts about it, but we're not gonna go into them.
Here's all you need to know about that. They're weirdos. Yuppie and
Yuppie and Poofy.
Yuppie and Poof are weirdos. I guess there's some. I mean, we can talk a little bit about. Listen, you're not gonna. Yeah. So, Poof still has like 10% of him left behind at the palace.
Yes.
After that happens, and his mission when he's there, he wants to kill Komugi. And Komugi is in the custody of the heroes, and they're basically preventing him from killing her. The reason why she's in the custody of the heroes is because Gon and Pitu went off after Pitu finished healing Komugi, but we'll get into that next time.
Yeah.
So, and then Yuppie is basically fucked. Yuppie goes through this whole interesting character arc. I mean, literally, Yuppie's whole point was served. Like it was done. The whole point of his character was done at the end of the day. So it's like, you hate to see him go, but he did serve his purpose, which was to kind of show how much the ants are like people.
Mm-hmm.
But
even the ants that aren't literally made of people.
Yes, I don't even think he was he made of human? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that it was said either implicitly or explicitly that he had like the least amount of people in him than any of them.
I think it was like you had
at least out of the royal guards.
Yeah, definitely out of the royal guards. So no, he's not. He's not part human. He's part Chimera Ant, part magical beast. So if you remember, like the guys that were disguised as humans but turned into like fox things in the first arc.
Yeah.
Those are magical beasts and that kind of thing. So he was taken from a magical beast and not a human, actually. So, and not all magical beasts look like that. I'm just using them as an example.
Yeah, just a magical beast.
Yeah. So some magical beast made him instead of a human. So interesting. And that's not to say magical beasts. I mean, literally the example that I used, they were disguising themselves as humans. So
yeah. Man, Hunter x Hunter is so good. My personal opinion, which I know you'll disagree with, and we'll definitely talk more about at length about it next time.
Yeah.
But I think that the Chimera Ant arc overall is my least favorite.
Okay.
Out of all of the arcs.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have the opinion that the Chimera Ant arc is not their favorite for whatever reason. Like they don't like it as much as a lot of the other arcs for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
When I say that, I don't say it necessarily in terms of like it is the lowest in quality.
Yeah.
I don't even know if like I have the energy to rank through all the arcs in terms of quality, but it's definitely my least favorite arc overall for some of the reasons I talked about in the last stream. The overbearing narrator for a lot of it. The sharp turn to darkness at the beginning feels a bit misery porn to me. Like it almost felt like part of it almost felt like I was watching Attack on Titan. That's how bad it was.
Which part exactly?
Just like how like brutally dark some of the early parts of it are.
Yeah.
Like when the ants are doing their stuff.
Yeah, I get that. I
said, I know it has a point.
Yeah, it has a point, which is why I like it. I know the arc is very long and it takes a long time to explain everything, and that's why people are like, I hate it. But here's the thing.
But I still like it.
I think
Go on.
I think it's one of my favorite because of the point that it makes, and it's not even saying the whole time. It's not even saying that humans suck, because that's not the whole point of the arc. It's that humans do suck, but at the same time, you know,
It really goes into the complexities.
humans are complex. Yeah, humans are complex, and because of humanity, the Chimera Ants became what they were. Because of humanity, the Chimera Ants were allowed to live as long as they were. Because of humanity, you know,
Chimera Ants could never exist as
Yeah.
they ultimately did.
and it's like, so it's like humanity sucks, but at the same time, you know, humans stuck through the Chimera Ants. You know, like Colt is still around, and he's like a good boy. So it's like, it's humanity doesn't necessarily suck on a level of like everyone sucks and everyone should hate each other. But at the same time, you have to
Or, like,
realize,
you can never underestimate the darkness.
at the,
in human
yeah,
heart.
at the same times, you have to realize that humans can be like these. Humans can be monsters.
And in particular, I think that the failure to truly understand what that means is something we're going to talk about a lot next time when we get into the Doan and P2 fight.
Yeah,
If you can call it a fight.
yeah. No, I mean that's. Sheesh. No, I knew we were going to talk about Netero and Miram for too long, so.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean,
you
it
said-
is-
I was like, we have an hour, and I was
In my
like,
opinion, it is the best part of the Palace Raid.
it is like I said, it's the payoff to the payoff. It's where everything is coming together. It is this one fight.
Yeah, and in that one fight, we did a great example of how Hunter x Hunter will subvert your expectations and not give you what you want, while at the same time,
Yeah.
find one of those moments where it does give you that big exciting fight that you want.
Mm-hmm. Well, because like I said, like at the end of Merom when he did that big blast and then the king survived and he had barely any scratches, I was like, well, it's, he can't die yet because he has to fight the hero. It's like I'm assuming like everybody who saw that part thought that thing right there. They were like, oh, Gon has to fight him. That's why he's not dead. And then they immediately kill him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
But anyway, that is going to be it for me today. Make sure you guys tune in next Thursday for the finale to the Hunter x Hunter arc of the
Nobody
Paggigalo
expected it to take 3 episodes, but here we are.
Okay, it was either going to take 3 episodes or 9 hours. With how long we're taking to talk about it.
Sure. Well, we
And
got
plus,
stuff to
we
say.
have the long hiatus
It's
in true Hunter x Hunter fashion.
It's true, yeah. And it's not even like, all I'm saying is we're passionate about it. When we get to talking about Kingdom Hearts, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a little bit different. Maybe the first, the Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2 Chain of Memories, we're going to talk about it with passion.
I don't know, I'd say passionate.
But it's a different type of passion. We're going to talk about it with enthusiastic passion for the first couple. And then as we go on in the series.
One entire podcast dedicated to Data Sora. That is my promise to you.
I will promise to you that I will not be there for that podcast.
You will be there for that podcast.
I will be there, and suspiciously my mic will be muted the whole time. And
I'm just talking to myself about Data Sora and Drops to the Heart and
Data Riku and. Well, anyway, it's 4 p.m. Get the hell out of here.
Yes, I love you very much. I have to go feed my wife before I die.
See ya.
Bye, stream.
Boy.
That was really fun and really good.
Yeah.
I have to make my way to a Mexican restaurant.
All right. Have a good
All
time.
right.
See you next
Bye, Paul.
Thursday at the minimum.
Love you, buddy.
See ya. Well, yeah. All right. Well, that was that. That was the stream. All right. Well, I got 2 shinies. Hey. That's nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneasel at. And this is the one that I wanted, too. And we got a freaking Apom as well. I actually kind of like the pink on the Apom. I was looking up, while I was talking about it, I was looking up. I was looking up the shiny for, like, the next evolution. Or the evolution of Apom, whatever the fuck it's called. I never remember its name. It's the double-tailed one. Abipom. And I don't like it as much, I gotta say. Like Apoms, it's like it has this nice pink color, and it looks nice, and then you go to the next one and it's like slightly darker. It's like this slightly darker purple, you know? And I think it actually kind of ruins it. So I don't know if I'm going to evolve it. I'm going to keep my little Apom boy. But that's that. I'm surprised I heard the shiny noise too, because I was Sumaluma Dumaluma nose speaking like a fucking mile a minute this stream. I hope I'm not. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm not giving Cory enough room to speak. Like when I'm explaining something, but also at the same time, I'm like, I want to get through the explanation so we can talk about our thoughts on it. So it's like, I hope that when I'm explaining something for like a minute and a half straight without him like interjecting anything, that he's not feeling like, he's not letting me speak. Like, I hope that he's just like, okay, he's just explaining it quickly so that we can talk about our thoughts on it. Because that's what's important to me, is getting our thoughts out, because me and Cory's, how do I explain this? Most of my friends don't like talking about this kind of stuff. You know, I'm a firm believer of history is goofy. You know, everyone's like, oh, the founding fathers, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, just stick with me. But the founding fathers, blah 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 blah, and you know, like all this history, and like here's these quotes from Aristotle. You know, like why don't we quote this from Aristotle? Probably like him fucking farting on his friend's face. Because that's probably what happened. That probably happened all the time. History is goofy. People are goofy all the time. Like, if I made the Chimera Ant arc, it would be like, the message would be, people are fucking goofy. Because it's the truth. People are goofy. So where was I going off at this tangent? Well, let me think for a second. Remember. So when you know, in normal day to day, I love being goofy. I love being a goofball. I love being a goofball. You know, we saw that at the beginning of the stream. But once I get into that serious mode, I really like being in a serious talking mode, like a serious talking about a subject that I'm passionate about mode, which Hunter x Hunter is one of them. I love being in that mode where I'm talking about something that I care about, because I can never get that experience anywhere else. You know what I mean? I can go hop into any one of my friends' chats and be a goofball, you know, be a stupid goofball, and I love doing it. I love being a goofball, you know? I can't hop into any one of my friends' chats and just have a serious discussion about Hunter x Hunter or Kingdom Hearts. And I know it sounds like, nerdy. I don't care. Like, it's something that I'm passionate about, something that I care about, and I care about stuff other than video games and anime. Okay, buddy. It's just when I'm talking on the stream, you know, I'm not out here like, Cory, you know, what's your thoughts on the war in Iraq? Like, it's I'm here to talk about the things that I'm passionate about, the things that I enjoy, and the things that I'm rambling a bit. I just talked about the war in fucking Iraq. I'm rambling a bit. Listen, the point is, the message is, okay? The message is, I'm glad for my friend Cory. I'm thankful for my friend Cory, I should say, because he allows me to have a baseboard to bounce, you know, talking points off of, because I can actually do a serious talky thing with him however I want to, without having to like write down an essay and then make a YouTube video about it, which is the only other alternative for me, because most of my other friends don't want to sit down and talk about stuff like that. Like I have talked about this, like my other friend Cory and Mason. My other Cory, he's a different Cory. He streams as well. You guys might know him. And by you guys, I mean nobody, because nobody's fucking watching this. But my other friend Cory Mason, like, we talk passionately about League esports, because League of Legends esports is really cool. I've loved League esports for years now, and we talk passionately about the players and like the different regions and stuff. That's the passionate thing that we talk about. You know, this Cory that we just talked about with Hunter x Hunter for 3 hours doesn't give a shit about League esports, and that's, you know, that's all my friends. But at the end of the day, it's still not. I haven't sat down with my other friends and started a podcast about League esports. Cory is the only person in my friend group that I've sat down with. And by the way, this Hunter x Hunter isn't the first time we've done stuff like this. It's just the first time we've streamed stuff like this. Because before, me and Cory have sat
in Discord calls for hours on end talking about random bullshit that we care about. You know, Kingdom Hearts. And we've talked about it for hours on end. And it's the only friend that I've ever... And it's like serious talks about random bullshit that we care about. It's not, you know, goofing around for 3 hours. I don't know. I'm rambling a bit. I know I'm rambling. There's no way for me to put it other than the way I've been rambling, so I'm sorry. The point of the matter is I'm thankful for my friends, not just Cory, but as also Cory in this situation specifically. That's the friend who I wanted to be thankful for. Check him out, Y_rock. Check out my other friends in other places. I'm not going to shout them out right now because they weren't on the stream with me for 3 hours. Yeah, and I'm pretty tired, to be honest. I'm going to go eat some pizza, chill out, and go lay down. I might be live tomorrow, actually. I was thinking about it because my sister is not home for the weekend. Or no, not for the weekend, for today and tomorrow. Which is why I was like, I can go on for as long as I want. Cory, unfortunately, cannot go on until 4 p.m. But that's because he has obligations. His daily obligations. But, yeah, so realistically, I could just go stream right now, but I'm tired as fuck. I've been up all day. So. I'm going to eat pizza, chill out, and I might come back tomorrow. You might be asking, if you were to come back tomorrow, what would you stream? Well, Dying Light 2 comes out tomorrow. I haven't seen any reviews on it, so it could be interesting. I don't think I'm going to do that, though. I don't think I would do that. I'm playing Fallout New Vegas recently with a punch build. First time I've done unarmed. Fun as fuck. And I've recently seen the Fallout New Vegas randomizer. Not just there's a randomizer which like randomizes people's items and stuff and like locations that people spawn in. There was also a door randomizer that randomizes where doors go. That apparently just is recent. And I'm really interested in that, let me tell you. I was honestly thinking about it, but I think that's way too long for like a single stream. I don't have Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer set up at all, like in any capacity. So I realistically, I'd like to do that, but I don't know if I ever could. Let me check out what else I got on Steam. Could play Arceus, of course. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, released on Steam, which is a game from my childhood. I was thinking about streaming it. It's a dungeon crawler action RPG, which is action RPG is the big umbrella. I've been meaning to make a YouTube video on that. Listen. Let me tell you a little secret. I've been meaning to make a YouTube video on the umbrella that is action RPGs, like the wide encompassing umbrella. Think about this. Diablo games, Kingdom Hearts games, Dark Souls games, they're all action RPGs. They all play completely differently. None of them are the same. Just think about that for a second. Alright, so that's it for me. I'm sorry for giving you that a little mind freak there at the end. But I've been thinking about making a YouTube video about that for eons. The thing is, I don't want to make it. It's one of those things where it's like I don't want to make it before I make other YouTube videos so that I can have a little bit of practice before I go plunging in, and I'm not motivated to make YouTube videos. So I'm not even motivated to fucking stream, and you know how easy that shit is? Literally today, I lazed around for like hours. The stream is coming up. I joined the call like 7 minutes after we agreed to come in. Set up my sound literally right before the stream because my microphone wasn't even plugged in beforehand. I stream a game for half the time where all I'm doing is just going through the same motions to like a different colored Pokemans, which is this one right here. Look at him, that's beautiful. Oh fuck, I'm so glad I got that. But it's like, you know,
it's streaming's so easy, and yet every time I think about doing it, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. And it's like right now I'm also, I'm torn between RuneScape leagues. This is happening a lot right now. Pokemon Arceus, which just released. Dying Light 2, which is coming out tomorrow. So like it's looking like it's gonna be fun. Fallout New Vegas, which I've been starting a new playthrough of for some fucking reason. Why did I start a new playthrough of Fallout New Vegas? The game's fucking massive. I don't know. I'm rambling yet again, and you know what? I enjoy rambling. You know what? Much like I enjoy serious talk, I enjoy fucking rambling. So I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna ramble for a little bit. You know what? I'm fucking rambling. Just kidding. I'm actually feeling tired. But here's what I'll leave you off on, gamers. If you've watched this video for as long as possible, first off, you're a psycho. You're literally listening to the ramblings of a madman. Second off, thank you so much. I'm thankful for you to be here. And I'm glad you're here. So, one last thing before we leave. What can I leave you with? Tomorrow, I might stream. I might hop on. I might stream something. If I do, it'll probably be just a quick stream. Something that I'm not afraid of just pumping out. I have class at noon, but, might not go. I can do it on Zoom anyway, and even then I might, if I want to stream at that time. I don't know what I'd stream, though. But here's the thing. Here's the mindset I gotta put myself in when I wake up tomorrow. Who gives a fuck what game you stream? Nobody's gonna be watching anyway. Just fucking stream something, bro. Just fucking stream something. That's what I gotta think. That's how I gotta think tomorrow when I wake up. So I'll see you tomorrow sometime streaming something, probably, hopefully. God, I hope I do. God, I hope I'm not a lazy asshole. I'll see you then. I'm glad to have you here, guys. Thank you for watching. Whether it's Arceus or New Vegas or Dying Light 2 or RuneScape Leagues. Hell no, I ain't streaming RuneScape League. Whether it's anything else. I thank you so much for being here. I moved the mic here at the end, so it might sound like shit, but I thank you so much for being here. Oh, yeah, you might not have noticed. Sorry, I didn't tell you. I got a new XLR mic. This whole time I've been using this XLR mic, and I haven't even told nobody. So, yeah. Thanks for stopping by. My new XLR mic. I like it a lot. It's nice to move it around. My only issue is that sometimes it becomes loose on the microphone screw, and I don't know, there's like no way to make sure that it doesn't do that. So it's a little annoying sometimes when I'm in a call for a long time, but luckily it didn't happen today, so we're just chilling. Anyway, I said I'd stop the stream how many times now? See you tomorrow. With something. I'm excited to stream. You know what? I just realized this is the first time I've been excited to stream in how long? I'm like, yeah, I'm excited to stream tomorrow. That'll be fun. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and hasta la pasta.